Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Six Masters, day number 7. My name is the Russian Cthulhu, and today I'm joined by the one and only Monkey Fist. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. I got a bit of a spicy mouth. I was trying to shove in some lunch before we went live, but I think I'll survive.
Well, we have a quite a interesting day, to say at the very least, with Six Masters, as we have a couple of matches that will potentially decide the standings, whether the teams can make it to the Six Masters or not.
Yeah, we've had we are going to have Oddity play today, and they have been really underperforming in the Six Masters. And I think they were a team that was really likely guaranteed to make it to the land, but they're really struggling. But they should be able to put up the numbers, I think.
All right. And we also have the matchup of August versus Acme as well after the Oddity versus Sinister, which I'm quite curious to see as well. Particularly how will Acme perform as well?
Yeah, of course. August versus Acme, it is pretty much a done deal in most people's eyes.
Yeah,
August should have that one pretty easily. But Acme have been known to, and I think they've been known to take down a few teams that we don't really expect them to do.
yeah, they're one of the kind of the underdog stories for just in general throughout the whole Six Masters, and seeing them on the second place of Group A is definitely a pretty good result all in all.
Yeah, going 3-0 so far. They've only dropped one map out of the what the set of or the 3 weeks that we've had so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad result for them.
Not a bad result indeed. And let's quickly take a look as well onto the schedule for today, just for those for people to remind. So Oddity Sinister first, August Acme is the second. Unfortunately, we did have the third matchup to come up as well, but due to some issues, that won't be the case today. So only two matchups today for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quite excited for Oddity Sinister because this time we will be seeing Oddity actually playing with a full core roster,
Yeah,
contrary to the usual to the previous playdays.
that's the thing. That's why I feel like we've been seeing Oddity really underperform. Right, is the fact that have been playing with their sub, or their coach, rather Raven. But now they're going to have Todd in, and looking ahead, Oddity have to verse Sinister here and Zealous next, and they are both teams that they are well ahead of in the Pro League, especially Sinister.
Yeah,
Um, and so I feel like Oddity should be able to put up the numbers to get to land. Like Sinister are pretty well already ready to go there. I think they have a result of two matches won, one lost. So they've got 6 points themselves. And with power plays not playing these last couple of weeks, I think the only team that they have to be ahead of is Zealous, which they did beat the other week.
yeah, and considering also the fact that Sinister today will also be playing with a sub being Nico, odds are kind of stacking up quite well in favor um, of Oddity. And why don't you tell us about the community vote as well, Monkey?
Yeah, so 81% of people are favoring Oddity in this one, and only 19%, sorry, to Sinister.
Hmm.
I suppose if you look at their Pro League forms, that's kind of understandable. But the fact that Oddity haven't put up a single win so far in the Six Masters, it is a bit of a skewed vote, in my opinion. On paper, you'd say Oddity all day, maybe only a little
Yeah.
bit close. Like, I really feel like the way these two teams have been performing in their own separate tournaments has not been indicative of where they actually are. Like, I think they are pretty even, with Oddity probably taking the edge for the most part.
Hmm.
But that's just really not how the season's gone.
Yeah, with the way how kind of with the fact that the Oddity within Six Masters context have been essentially not playing with the core roster up until today was definitely quite hurting them. So yeah, I'm kind of tending to agree with you here. And on the topic of the map picks, I'm also quite curious to see how things are going to go because we do have Villa to start things off, and then we have Bank and I believe Clubhouse. No,
Was it
Coastline. Pardon.
Coastline? Yeah,
Yeah,
Coastline.
Coastline. So I'm getting a feeling that Sinister will have the intended advantage here in the matchup.
Well, the thing is, right, is that we saw and we were saying that Villa is a Sinister favored map, right?
Yeah.
But they got really destroyed on it during the Pro League week
Yeah,
this week, didn't they?
that's pretty much the closest expression of what happened to them on their two map picks for that matter, actually, during the Pro
It,
League. So
it wasn't destroyed, but like power players are a team that have been struggling so much. Yeah, they
yeah.
managed to take the W.
Yeah, well, whilst we are in the ban phase now, Jackal to be the first one to come out from Oddity, and on the side of Sinister, I'd say we might be expecting something across the lines of Thatcher, maybe? Because that's a similar case that what we saw during the Pro League, didn't we, Monkey?
Yeah, we did see that Sinister really enjoying banning that Thatcher. In fact, it is going to be a Capitao here instead, Cthulhu.
Okay. It's also interesting to me because they did utilize Capitao quite a fair bit during the Pro League match, but this time it feels like they don't want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah, well, Capitao is one of those operators that I feel like you really want to ban. I don't know, dependent on how the team wants to play. Of course, that's how all bans should really go.
Yeah.
But Capitao is one that we saw banned so much at the start of the ANZ Pro League season. Maybe slowed down a little bit, but teams are still deciding to ban him out. And what is that final ban, Cthulhu?
Oh my, yeah, that is a very odd one, being the mute, because I don't think we actually did see a mute ban at all, at least within the Six Masters context, as his utility might be quite crucial to some of the plays, I feel. At least on the side of Sinister.
Yeah, I really don't feel like they're target banning anyone here.
They're kind of just throwing like a wild card out there, it's rather.
Yeah. So also talking about the lineups, we spoke about Todd coming back in for Oddity, but we have a switch out for Sinister as well. Nico has come in for Arnie. I believe you did touch on it slightly earlier, but yeah, Arnie not playing today and Nico in instead. Do you think that perhaps this is a response to Sinister really struggling during the Pro League, perhaps?
It could be one of their attempts to see if maybe one of the subs of Team Sinister will be suitable for some of their plays, maybe more, because Nico, from what I heard and we talked about it as well, Nico apparently has been screaming a fair few times with the team as of recently. So this might be the potential change up, maybe a quick switch around from bench to core and from core to bench.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how it pays out here for Nico, but from my understanding, he doesn't really want, like, he's of course in the organization as a content creator, right? Like that's his role. And I think he's I'm not quite sure if he wants to be a sub or play core or what's the go, but I really feel like if they want to keep him on as a content creator, he's going to struggle if he starts playing full-time with the team as well as trying to create content.
Yeah, the content creation is definitely quite a taxing on the time part. So I'm still though quite curious to see what will Nico be able to pull off, because he still has a pretty nutty aim.
Yeah, he's a really good player. It's not just the aim, the brain on that guy is massive. I'm gushing right now. I'm a bit fanboying, but he has a very big brain to go along with his aim.
Yeah, well, for now though, talking about the big brain, Fisher guy will be trying to get rid of some of the utility to see if he can net himself, or matter of fact, his team rather, some easy entrance, but seems like that might not be the case. Let's talk about quickly touch up on the lineups of the operators, because so far from Sinister side we might be seeing quite a interesting setup.
Yeah, they got a bit of a Fury inspiration here, haven't they? We've got Copper on the Blitz. So yeah, we saw Fury do some great work having a Blitz on the side. Alright, Bandit trick going to be ensured it denies. There is no Bandit in fact, so a bit of a slight waste of the utility. There's actually no denial to open up that wall from Sinister at all, so a bit interesting there.
Maybe this could be one of the attempts for Oddity to bait things in for now, but Redolent with his Echo Drone might be able to set up a couple of a couple cameras for his team to watch out in case he does end up dying. But Copper might be the one to spearhead the push.
Very aggressive to do that on the blitz, and Copper actually gets caught on the reload, sends some damage back to Todd through the smoke as Red has been downed on the bomb site. Todd stuck at L. Is pretty lucky to be alive, hiding right behind that pillar as Vicious has found God Legion. Gonna see the jump on in, and Fisher guy wins that somehow. There's another frag coming out for Sinister, and this is just Sinister going all the way right now, Cthulhu. Vinny in a 1-on-5. How did this happen?
It just, there was no breach denial, and just things just collapsed. They had excellent communication and coordination with the push.
Yeah, you can see what Sinister planned to, or what Oddity had planned to do, but nothing to come from it. And, you know, the person we spent so much time talking at the start of the roundabout will close things out there with the final kill.
I like the fact how Nico he was told essentially to just watch the flank, and he did it from a pretty safe position, albeit from the balcony, just watching out for either of the doorways, and pretty much Sinister had everything on lockdown.
Yeah, when you bring that sub in, it does give you the opportunity to just, I don't know, you put them on those roles where it's kind of not too ambiguous what they have to do, and you know, just try and put them in spots where it, you know, you don't have to rely on their knowledge. It's all just the aim.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, though, AVG will be once again a retry from Oddity, but this time they realized how much of a mistake it was to not have anything to deny even a slight bit of breaching. So bringing in a Kayed could potentially help them sort out the issues, as well as the fact that potentially this time we won't be even seeing any hard anchors bar redolent on Maestro.
You know, I'm thinking that perhaps, I don't know, I think Oddity might have been believing there was going to be a Thatcher ban.
It could have been the case, yeah. They could have expected, especially from the last Pro League matches where Sinister showcased those two Thatcher bans, that it was probably the expectation, but now they're just trying to essentially readapt to that.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they banned out the mute as well, right? So they could kind of follow up on that. But this time they're going to be going with the Kaid. Still no Bandit coming out, Cthulhu, and he wasn't banned. Why perhaps are they sticking to the Kaid in your opinion?
I'd say it's rather to not be absolutely prevented and dogged by Zophia's concussion grenade, because those pretty much deny any action that you start doing as a bandit right by that wall. And what Sinister pulled off pretty much at the first round pretty much settled that deal.
Yeah, and then of course there is the IQ through the floor, which can or not find that Electro Claw, but
that would be. I think that was the Valkyrie camera.
Ooh. Luna all on her own on the other side of the map. In fact, Fisher Guy was nearby, and that's going to allow Vinny to get a double. They have the drone and the information as to some of these positions, but they're just allowing Oddity to roam free here.
Yeah, that's not what you would want right now as Sinister, because I'd say at least one of the players of Sinister would be a bit furious right now, saying as the drone was there to relay the information, but nobody seemed to have called it out.
Sometimes, you know, you have the drone and everything and you have the information, you just don't win the fight onto the Roma. And, you know, they had the two over there. I thought Luna was on her own, but no, Fisher Guy was there. And Vinny was able to get the two. So sometimes it's just good play, as it has just somehow ended up just being Nico and Vicious 2v5. This is a completely different round we're seeing here, Constantine.
It certainly does look like it, as right now just Vinny just got a little bit too aggressive on the peak, but I'm quite curious to see how will it play out, as Oddity are just continuing denying any breach whatsoever.
Yeah, and perhaps that's why they've brought the Kaid, because the Bandit doesn't have those impact grenades, of course. But, you know, I think they're just going to have to go balls to the wall. Nico tries to go for a bit of a drone bait. Doesn't quite work out, as Vicious will be pushing towards El Hallway.
I'm kind of curious to see how will Nico perform in this one, because he, like we mentioned before, he has the big brains and the aim for it, so maybe we'll be seeing even something like an ace clutch.
I think this round's over right now here, Cthulhu. It is a 2-on-5, and is it Oddity are not giving them anything at all. They're just going to have to force their way through choke points, through crossfires, and I think
Hope
that
for the
might
best.
cause this to be a good round here. 20 seconds on the clock, and they have to go right now as Vinny will find one. All up to Vicious now. He has found one, so it's not a flawless round, but either way, Oddity completely flipped the switch on that one.
Indeed. And I do also want to point out the fact that Todd decided right after the fact that he did get that frag on L, he just defaulted back to the side. So he can pretty much just got out of the roaming play as Mozzie and just fell back, held his angles, and had the hack drones. I think he had one of them actually on L looking over. So just the fact that that Mozzie just offers that much of a flexibility in how you play is pretty good showcase all in all.
Yeah, of course, that's what you have to do, Cthulhu, when you've got a man advantage like 5-on-2 like that. Just go back to sight and anchor.
Yeah.
Trophy room statue this time, and we are going to see that blitz once again from Copper.
It worked to a certain degree quite well on the first round when Sinister did decide to pull it off, but I feel that Oddity, after the first round, might still not expect if Sinister will go absolutely balls to the wall with the blitz rush. So it could play in hand, but after this round, I don't think it will be as effective as before.
Well, we'll have to see how it plays out, of course. Copper's been a player that's gotten on the shields a few times in the past, hasn't he? So it's not like it's a new role for him, or, as I said earlier, mostly in jest. You're trying to pull a Fury here.
10 seconds left.
I mean, hey, it worked pretty well on the first map on Cafe, so
5 seconds left before insertion.
could be worth a try. Whereas on the side of Oddity, I feel like it's to a certain point a bit more stock standard. They are bringing in the Bandit rather than a Kayed, so I mean, could be probably just a safe pick for them.
Yeah, taking a look at the standings and such, Cthulhu. I was thinking it is kind of like a little bit of a duality and like opposite, like a reversal to what we see in Pro League, right? Oddity struggling, Zealous struggling, Sinister doing all right. Whereas in Pro League we're seeing Zealous doing really well. We're seeing Oddity doing really well, but Sinister, they have not got a win yet.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point, and it kind of makes you think and question: was it just the fatigue after the Pro League weekdays, or was it just?
I think it might
was
also
it the priority, maybe.
I think it might have a bit to do with the format as well.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point as well.
Seeing as this is best of threes. That being said, like you'd really expect Oddity to be doing a lot better.
Well, with Six Masters, you would have also expected to see the whole core lineup of Oddity, whereas this time this is the first time where Oddity is actually playing with a core.
Well, I suppose we'll have to see where the cards lie after it's all said and done, Cthulhu. Halfway through the round and not much action coming out from Sinister. They have taken downstairs, I believe. I think it was Fisher Guy trying to get some action up through that floor. Yeah, we can see him through the floor just then. He's going to surely see this Maestro camera taken on out, but that's a C4 that does a lot of damage.
Yeah, that would put a bit of a hindrance towards Sinister in their attempt. Todd took up a little bit of damage, and Copper is still kind of a little bit throttled on his push.
Yeah, Fisher Guy, in fact, will find Todd. But that first thermite charge has been denied. The second one will not be, however, as the smokes come on out. And they have the man advantage here at Sinister. Make that a two-man advantage before Vast sends it back to just the one. Redolent trying to get aggressive as well. Putting us into just a 4-on-2. 35 seconds on the clock, and they're going to have to go for the execute. Legion does get Copper on the side, and that's going to be another one for Vast. This has been evened up to the 2-on-2 here, Cthulhu.
Correct, as God Legion already managed to return back to the side, and Vast holding a pretty long angle just outside of trophy entrance, so he had a pretty good lineup as well. Nico will be the one to be trying to push in, and with 13 seconds to go, it's not a whole lot of options left.
Yeah, time's ticking against them. They're going to go for the frags. There's Nico onto the first one. Vast is far away, but they're going to start planting over in that art room or whatever it's called, statuary, as Nico will shut him down. Very close round there, wasn't it? It wasn't at the start, but it was finished off in a 2-on-2.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a sloppy execution from Sinister to get actually on the site and proceeding to lose essentially 3 people. Not what they would have wanted, but it's a win nonetheless within a round, so good for them. And 2-1 is the scoreline so far, with Trophy and Statuary will be the repetition of Oddity's defense.
Yeah, so we've seen him try AVG twice, lost it at first and then won, and now we've seen him going to try Trophy 2 times in a row. They lost it at first.
Defenders,
Can they
protect your
win
bombs
it
from
on their
being
second
taken by
attempt?
attackers.
It seems that the lineup itself just changed just a little bit. Once again, we won't be seeing any hard breach denial from Oddity. Rather, we will be seeing a smoke to come out. Whereas on the side of Sinister, it all seems to be just about the same, bar the fact that they are bringing in a Twitch rather than a Blitz.
No, they got the Nomad instead of the Twitch. Fisher guy was on the IQ,
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
they're bringing
right.
the Twitch instead of the IQ. So 2
Yeah, Twitch
operators.
instead of IQ, yeah, cool.
Yeah, and no Blitz this time. I'd have to agree that Blitz didn't really do much for them in that previous round.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, well, the beauty of Blitz is that you need he's one of those like momentum operators that you need to emphasize on in the early round. But because they were a bit slow on their initial execute, that Blitz was pretty much really not needed. So Nomad is definitely much more suitable for their playstyle operator, I feel.
And Todd's off the Mozzie as well, isn't he? He was on Mozzie last round?
Yes, he was on.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, Todd was on Jaeger last round. No.
Okay, so yeah, no
Yeah,
chance
it's
for it. He was on Mozzie on the other bomb side, so my mistake.
Yeah. So it's only Redolent that is really making a change up here, which I'm still kind of questioning, because Bandit for Statuarian is definitely a very important operator in my opinion.
Yeah, I really have to say that I think that Oddity were expecting that Thatcher band to come out from Sinister once again, and that's
Yeah.
what's like caused them to, I suppose, be a bit wonky or not really commit to what operators they want to pick out.
Yeah, that's a good point, really.
Because like they weren't really accounting for the fact that their bandit charges could get dealt with so easily. And oh, that's going to be Nico to find Red for the very first frag. And this Red was, he was on the smoke.
Yeah, he was
How-
on the smoke and holding
How
in the.
aggressive was he? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was a very well planned defense from
Attackers have recovered the
Oddity.
diffuser.
I can understand the fact that they they won their previous round that they won off being very aggressive, so they're trying to replicate that kind of thing. But losing an operator like Smoke early on in Copper, that is dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
It is indeed, and all the utilities starting to come out. So now Vinny will need to attempt to try to impact trick it, and will be successful. So that is one of the 2 charges dealt with. So he'll need to hit it one more time. But it seems that Sinister, I'm just about ready to collapse onto both sides, really.
Well, they do have the Valkyrie below, however, so we could see some C4 coming up and through, but that thermite charge will be confirmed, Cthulhu.
And that was a missed impact grenade as well from Vinny that ended up costing it. So the very aggressive push is coming out from Sinister now.
Yeah, there we go. Vinny and Fisher Guy to trade on back before Fisher Guy will take on Vinny, leaving it all up to God Legion in the 1-on-4. This is Sinister that we've been expecting to see in the Pro League time and time again, and Oddity really struggling here. There's going to be one for God Legion before he hits the air jab, but no one there to capitalize on it as that diffuser is planted. So the 1-on-3 retake will have to come on out. He's gone low, but he's still alive.
And the flank will be also coming out from Sinister, so he will be pinched in pretty soon, I feel.
Yeah, especially with that amount of HP, we don't really have too much hope for God Legion here in this one, do we, Constantine? As the timer is halfway gone on that diffuser. I don't know, I think this might be all over Red Rover at this point.
Yeah, oof. Doesn't look like God Legion is ready to go off as well, as Nico will be the one to try to hold the angle and see if he can pull it off. But there's a C4 as well. Nico will be going down, but Luna is the last person standing. Will be able to clutch this up. Once again, Sinister seeming a little bit too close to losing.
See, that was a 1-on-4 going down to a 1-on-1, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the plant was down and the timer was almost up. So even if Luna was fragged out there by God Legion, I think they would have still won the round just off of time alone.
Fair point. I think he still had if the moment he got the kill on Luna, if he went straight to defuse, that would have worked out. But yeah, you do have a very valid point. Things are still looking all favorable to the side of Sinister. What's the main question to me? It's the fact that we were talking about so much that this is currently a defensive meta game.
That's exactly the point I was going to be bringing up next. Cthulhu, carry on.
But and with the fact how already only managed to grab a single point for themselves on the defense in Villa against an attacking side is kind of making me a little bit worried about just the general their performance.
Look, it's only one round so far, and they do still have the opportunity to go 3-3. If this goes 4-2, I might be saying it's over right now. If it goes 5-1, I would be very surprised if Oddity are able to bring anything back. That being said, this is what, one of Sinister's best maps, isn't it?
Yes, that is one of their main maps, yes.
And the way, you know, the ban phase works and how they ban down to you know, you only have one ban before you got to pick a map.
Yeah.
I didn't quite see the full ban phase. I believe I can just look it up first, but here we go. So what did already ban first? They decided to ban border first, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, border was...
No, they didn't choose Villa. Maybe already were feeling confident they could take you on Villa.
Yeah, it could be either that or they just didn't want to just deal with border in any case. They did ban out Cafe, which is Sinister's secondary map. And, yeah, I mean, I'd be quite confident to say that Bank will be Oddity's map, I feel. So,
sorry, would you say you think Bank will be Oddity's map?
yeah, I still would like to say that Bank will be Oddity's map, just due to the fact that it's it's their map. It's their map pick, and they have been practicing it quite a fair few times.
I thought you'd said at first that that Villa would be Oddity's map.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. I misheard. I misheard. My mistake. But Copper not taking up the blitz this time, Cthulhu.
That is correct. The Copper did actually swap out at the last moment, initially teasing blitz, and then I do think that that it was a 6-pick onto Nomad, which could potentially be a bit misleading for Oddity's defense.
Yeah, you know, I am a bit curious as well as to why this has gone to Villa, as Oddity were perma-banning Villa last season in the Pro League. So I'm very surprised that they've brought it out, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was a fairly dominant Sinister map here.
Most definitely, with Todd already going down, just Sinister starting to collapse already.
Yeah, Fisher guy with 2. Looks like Vast will be getting aggressive here as Vinny shuts down a Fisher guy. No, he's changed his mind. Someone's got the pick, so they don't have to play aggressive altogether now. They can kind of try and hold it as Nico with the prone peek finds the head of Vast, leaving it just up to Vinny. Yeah, not red anymore as Luna trades him on out, but there we go. The trades go 1 for 1, and yeah, I think this is where we start to get worried for Oddity here, Cthulhu.
Most definitely, things are just not looking all well. Oddity just seeming to be at a complete disarray and unable to maybe communicate properly. The fact how kind of Sinister are playing off their sub being a little bit that unpredictable wild card is seeming to be working out for them quite well.
That's true. I think Oddity would have done some voting midweek on the game we saw Sinister play during Pro League and have been confident that they could take him, but I think Sinister taking this a whole lot differently than how they took against power plays.
Yeah, and to a certain degree, I do feel that Nico was also kind of given the commands. Like he's either being told, "Can you please hold the angle?" and he holds it steadfast, and then you've been told, he's been told, like, "Yeah, you can. We have the man advantage. Just feel free to go for the peak," and he just goes for that prone peak. And looking at the scoreline here, there was a 2 6s on the side of Sinister, I believe that was.
Yeah, it was Nico and Fisher guy, I believe. I was more interested in the side of Oddity, right? Vinny's got 8 kills.
Yeah.
But the rest of his team, I think it was 3 on 1, 2 and 1, and none. Redolin, I know, was dropping the donut. Todd on just the one, the breadstick. And I don't want to focus on that kind of stuff too much, but I think, you know, these guys, they're all very good aimers and can get kills. But in a game like Siege, that's not what wins you the maps. It's the strategy that's allowing you to get those kills is what's important. And Oddity, I'm once again, I've said this, 3 times in the last 3 minutes. Taking it to Villa has surprised me here, and then they really don't look ready for it.
Certainly feels like it, and maybe bringing Sinister to something like Border would have been much more fruitful for them. But I feel that to a certain point that if not for if they would have banned Villa, it would have been Cafe, and Cafe is one of those maps that I don't think Oddity would be too keen on taking them there, really.
Yeah, that's true. Like maybe that's what they were thinking Sinister would be bringing out, because that's another map that we've seen Sinister think they're really good on, except for this week, I suppose. And you know, they've already had a couple of victories on it as well. So, I don't know. I think Sinister are one of those teams that are in a very weird spot right now, and Oddity have just been unable to prepare for it to the maximum.
Well, potentially that could be the case, but we do see once again a blitz to come out from Sinister, with Copper once again returning to the German operator. Quite curious to see how will he perform, because they are just started setting up their push, and potentially there were a couple of the sound cues as well.
Choo-choo, here it comes. That blitz is so close to the bomb site right now, but Copper wants to get aggressive with it. ADSing with that pistol. The smoke grenade's going to come out to try and hold him at bay, but this is a very early collapse onto the bomb site here from Sinister.
Indeed it is, as Copper is now intending to go hunting, but I don't think there is actually anyone downstairs, as most of the defense has now bailed off. So for now, it is a little bit of a waste of time on the side of Copper, as Luna is the one trying to get some peaks going for himself.
Interesting that all of Oddity are on site for the most part. Vast. Bit of a sketchy peak, but he will win it out in the end. So, you know, they've got everyone on site, but they've also got the only frag in this round so far.
Correct. And all of the walls have been popped open as well in favor of Sinister.
And there we go. So Redolent was traded on back. We're in a 4-on-4, and you know, I said they were collapsing early, but they've kind of really slowed down here. Copper downed and finished off, but Vicious and Fisher got to find their own 2 before we see 3 go back in the favor of Oddity. All up to Vicious now. 1-on-2 with 15 seconds on the clock.
And Vicious needs to go for those frags, but God Legion with I believe that was a 4K for him, will be able to pretty much bring the W to Oddity, which feels kind of a little bit still wonky. So first half 4-2.
Yeah, I did. As I said, I think it's a bit worrying if this goes 4-2. All right,
yeah,
3-3 would have been much better for Oddity.
Oh yeah, to be able to essentially kickstart the match kind of from another draw. This is definitely a bit worrying for them going into a 2-round disadvantage, but I feel that we might be seeing a slightly better push from Oddity rather than their defense, because we saw a fair few times when Oddity were quite coordinated on the attack, but were occasionally kind of getting either too experimental or just unprepared on defense for some of the plays. And I feel that with the fact that Thatcher is not bad, this could be the good goal for them.
Well, looks like Oddity aren't even choosing to take that Thatcher we were talking about, Cthulhu. Of course, that wall will be bandited, but Are we going to see through the floor IQ shots will probably be what they're relying on to counter, or the buck, which, you know, can do so much damage from below, of course.
I feel that, yeah, IQ will be the main person to start getting rid of the bandit batteries, but the fact that they also bring in a Maverick for this one rather than any other conventional...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That could be also the way to go for them, which, to a certain degree, against Sinister on that map pick, I'd be still a little bit worried.
Yeah, I'm looking like a bit of a fool right now. I know that's the only hard breach that they've got in Maverick, so no real need to counter those batteries at all. SMH, Monkey Fist, SMH.
Well, to kick things off though, Vinny will be the one to be grabbing the kill onto Luna, and that is one of the players who have been kind of shining for Sinister, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. I think, you know, the whole squad here for Sinister's been putting in work, but Luna going down early on, it isn't great news, of course. It does give the attackers, you know, that little bit of leverage to bounce off, and, you know, man count always pretty important. What I do want to say, however, is the more time ticks away, the less defenders can defend more, right? Because they're able to just hold down any choke points, and the attackers are going to be forced to go through them.
That is a good point. So for now, for Sinister, they need to start rotating back to the side, just start holding down and locking down some angles. Oh, Nico.
Unfortunate timing there on the prone peak. Surely we're going to see this wall busted open, as that's a tap to the foot of God Legion. Thing is, it's suppressed as well, so they might not even know where they're going to be getting damage from.
Well, they will be getting the damage markers from in the direction where they could be taking the damage, but yeah, that would still be to a certain degree confusing.
Suppressors cancel that, don't they?
Pretty sure no. It's the danger markers.
Yeah, no, there's none of those. When there's a suppressor on the board, as Fisher guy finds Red and God Legion, both with the C4. This has gone from bad to worse here for Oddity, as they are looking like they might be 5-2 down on their attacking half right now.
Yeah, things are definitely not shaping up at all, as they just gone from their man advantage to two-man disadvantage, and well, sorry, one-man disadvantage in their favor, but yeah, things definitely not shaping up whatsoever with 40 seconds to go.
Well, Todd wants to peek through this hole. I know he can hear those taps coming through now. He's gonna open.
Yep.
I was gonna say he's gonna open up more holes and abandon it. No need to stick to it as Vinny. He's gonna go down there. Probably finished off as well eventually, or just left for dead, as Fisher guy gonna get aggressive. They're gonna push on through the smoke babes there, right on deep, but Nico and Vicious to finish things off there. And as I said, 5-2, and you still got to attack. It's pretty rough here for Oddity.
Yeah, you're making a very good point, and I do think that this map will be going pretty quickly in favor of Sinister. We might be seeing a map number 2 just in a little bit, but to kind of touch up on things, it feels that even though they did bring in IQ, I don't think they used her that well, really, because I feel like the initial bank on was on Maverick to just have a couple of angles opened up, and that C4 from, I believe that was Fisher, was pretty much the deal breaker.
Of course, but Dining Kitchen will be the second choice here. You know, we saw Oddity defend it once, and that's one of the ones that they won here on their defensive half.
Yeah, but it was one off the back. Well, to a certain point, off the back of God Legion, who did manage to get a 4K at that point, and it's just in general, Oddity seemed to be still at a little bit of that disarray, playing a little bit for just kind of solo plays to a certain point. Whereas Sinister just seeming to be, after that Pro League, back on their feet, and
10 seconds to go.
seems like the practice did pay off quite well.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers have located a bomb.
Well, Cthulhu, what are we thinking? Is this going to be GG, or do we have any faith for Oddity to come back in this one?
I mean, I'd probably give another round for Oddity to kind of see if they can start pushing for a comeback. But after this round, if it goes once again to Sinister, I would be more inclined to just call GG, really. Or at the very least, well, good half. Or good 1/3.
Good third. Yeah.
If we really want to get mathematical out here.
Well, where did Oddity take this one from? It looks like they might want to start taking control of the top of the map from the south side, work their way down, and then start opening up the floor. They do have the Buck on board for that, of course.
He should be the one actually doing quite a fair chunk of damage, as well, both to the utility and to the positioning of Sinister. As Skeleton Key might be one of the rather underrated, I feel, utilities, at least within ranked play, really. But I'm not really trying to compare Six Masters to ranked.
Yeah.
Within the community, let's say that. Yeah.
Ooh, looks like we did hear the Buck shotgun start singing out in the master bedroom, of course. See what they can see. Now, C4's on the board for Sinister. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some come up in reply. And we did see, of course, Copper, I think, was in a position where he could potentially flank up here as well. So, wonder if one of those
might have called it, actually.
Yeah. Or one of those air jabs could be watching that flank as well, of course.
Yeah, it seems for now, there it is, there's Copper going on a potential big brain flank.
Oh, and they got the flank watch. Ooh.
Bomb located.
Taking a bit of damage for his trouble. In fact, he's practically dead. Just 20 HP to try and survive off here.
I think at this point it will be the safe option for him to just rotate back to the side and try to hold one of the angles. But as it stands, Oddity are starting to up the pressure, even though it is only 40 seconds left to go.
Yeah, their push is going to have to come to shove at some point. They're going to have to run on in. Todd will find Copper, that lone player that was on the other side of the map. And, you know, that damage didn't matter because it was a headshot that'll finish him off. Smoke bags are going to come on out, and that's a great time for them as well because there is only 30 seconds left on the clock. Luna's traded out God Legion as well, so it is 4-on-4. It's going to be very hard for Oddity to force their way through this doorway here.
Indeed, they need to at least have another place where they're going to push, and it seems that Luna will be the one to shut down what is. Wow. That's
bloodbath, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just a bloodbath. That is probably the closest definition of what happened here. As with the match point now in effect for Sinister, this seems like we might be actually good to call the GG.
Yeah, looking ready to head to map 2 rather swiftly here. I 100% have to put this down to the fact that Oddity are, well, either A, they're cursed in the Six Masters, or B, they are, you know, it's just the fact that it's Villa. Very good map for Sinister, map that Oddity were perma-banning the previous Pro League season.
Yeah, it could be the curse, maybe it's just, I was about to say fatigue, but there was a day of a break, really, from the
Defenders, protect your bombs
from
used by attackers.
from Pro League, but really, yeah, the things are not looking all well prepared for Oddity.
Well, as for this attacking lineup here from Oddity, pretty stock standard from what we saw previous round. This time they are bringing a Barna. So probably going to try and use that to bust open some of those walls, and there is no denial on the side of Sinister. Being said, they do have impact grenades, Cthulhu.
Yeah, they do certainly have impact grenades, but last time we saw, say, Oddity to try to do just the sheer amount of impact tricking, things didn't really work out so well. So, hopefully for Oddity, they will be able to get those Nirvana charges popping as quickly as possible. On the side of Sinister, that feels like a little bit of a risky bank.
Yeah, well, 30 seconds to see how it's all going to end up, Cthulhu. sorry, 30 seconds in the round to see how it's going to all end up. 2.5 on the clock. What do you think the plan is for Oddity here? Are they already talking about next map, or are they going to keep fighting to the very last of it?
Ideally, they would want to keep fighting here to see if they can put as much pressure onto Sinister, but I wouldn't be excluding the fact that they're already starting to kind of feel how are they going to approach the bank, how they're going to do the defense, because things are certainly looking like we might be having a quick close. Oh, mama.
That's called just getting clapped, isn't it? Like, winning a 70-30 gunfight like that should not really be happening for Fisher Guy. In fact, it might even be more than 70-30.
Yeah, that was actually, let me a real quick check. What was the change? Yeah, the 80 to 20. Well, 81 to 19, really, if we go
I was talking about how that's an unfavored gunfight. Like, it's not a 50, it's a 70-30. Probably 80-20.
Yeah. Well, things considered, though, still with the man disadvantage, I still do think that Oddity has the, never mind, utility and manpower. Yeah, I just got back.
Oh, there is Oddity replying, putting us back into a 3-on-3 Cthulhu as they've found 2 frags there. Fisher Guy, of course, is very lit thanks to that earlier on engagement. Lunar and Vicious are still at 100, of course, still. So they have opened up a little bit into the garage, of course. Sorry, into... Why am I just fluffing my words today? Into the bomb site.
Yeah, it currently seems like it's just all paused up for just a little bit before the yet another push will start happening. Todd is actually going in for the plant.
Yeah, plant going on down, and no one from Sinister to deny. In fact, Vast will put this favored into Oddity's hands in a 2-on-3. Of course, it was Fisher Guy, the very lit player, that has gone down, but they're going to have to retake. In fact, it is going to be Vicious to try and retake, and Oddity going to shut that one down. Cthulhu, great response from them.
Great responses indeed, as it definitely looks like Oddity are not yet ready to transition into their map pick. They do want to attempt to get the potentially a swift 2-0 for them, but I mean, making a comeback at 6-1, or pardon, 6-2 is might be a little bit too late, because they're literally on. They can't afford any more mistakes within the rounds.
Yeah, they literally cannot afford any more mistakes. Keep in mind, that was a 5-on-3 Cthulhu that Oddity managed to turn back into their favor.
Yeah, it maybe it's one of those kind of match point curses here, striking Sinister for a little bit, seeing as Oddity are kind of in their comfort zone. So even if Oddity will push it to overtime, well, to say 5-6. Oddity, Sinister would still have the chance to kind of bring it back. So they just kind of flexing with their round advantage, maybe here.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just Oddity managed to win a round off on a site that, I don't know, it didn't really look too great from Sinister. Like, it started off great, of course, but that was just them winning gunfights, even unfavored gunfights.
Yeah, good point. Well, meanwhile, though, looking at the whole lineup of Sinister seems to be back to basics, bringing in a bandit for this one. Still have 2, I believe, impact grenades for themselves in case those bandit batteries will go down. So, whereas on the side of Oddity, only a single hard breacher, that would be a bit tricky to play him out.
The thing is, with the Habanas, you can put them low enough that they cannot be impact tricked, or at least not easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they could be impact tricked at all. So they should be able to open up the walls that they're hoping to open up, as long as they can deny the bandit, of course.
Yeah, bandit will be the main hurdle here for Oddity to deal with, but another hurdle could be that 2-man roam just outside of the site, actually make it a 3.
Fisher Guy looks like he's taken some early damage, as we are seeing Oddity establish themselves on the north side of the map.
Yeah, and for now, already just trying to grab as much ground as possible before they will start committing to the push. And the main contender here is Copper, actually, on the Jaeger at L.
Yeah, firing through the wall. Bit of a cheeky, sneaky angle, wasn't it? But Oddity still going to be clearing forward. You know, diligent drone work. Finding any of those Legion mines, of course, and L is in their control. Seems like Sinister are happy for them to take it.
And with the ballistic shield gone, there will be even less ground for Copper to try to cover. But it's Fisher with a C4 from below, and he was the man who was doing quite a fair chunk of work, actually.
Yeah, he's going to ping it so his team know exactly where it is. But there's no camera to tell him the right point. Giving the call out. And Vinny wondering if there's going to be anything from below. All right, here we go. Nade's going to come on over, and it's going to be caught by the ADS system, but how is it not catching the lifeline charges? It must be placed rather cleverly there.
Could be. But meanwhile, already are now at a little bit of a loss, as in what to do now.
Yeah, interesting that they're not taking over study, as we see most teams take this bomb site. You know, just going to be 2D pushing from the north, just the one direction to contest with. Of course, there is the two different doors and hallways that they can go on down here, Oddity. There we go. Finally, we have some presence that looks like it's going to be heading towards study. That's Todd, but there's only 20 seconds on the clock, Cthulhu. Things are about to get rather hot.
Rather hot indeed, with still not a single blood has been drawn, so it is about to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, Luna finds Todd, Fisher guy, Nico. Oh, it's all raining blood right now. God Legion, he's down, he's finished. It is over, Cthulhu, with a 7-3 victory to Sinister.
7-3 indeed, as just already were feeling a little bit like they just were not even close to being prepared for that matchup. And going into Bank, I'd still be really questioning their readiness for today's Playday, really.
I think it's more of just the map and the beans that they didn't really expect to come on out. Rather tough game for Redolent, and well, pretty much the rest of Oddity as well. God Legion and Vinny, and it was Todd with 3, so not really everyone putting up the numbers there, which is rather unfortunate to see.
It is quite unfortunate indeed, with the way how Sinister were organizing things. It was, I'd imagine, very hard to bring back into favor of Oddity, as that was the Sinister that we needed to see during Pro League. That's where that map pick of Villa would have made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, let's look forward, however, towards Bank, which is the second map we're going to be seeing. It's a map that Oddity are very good on. In fact, if I can just pull up my stats. Bank is a map that they'd only really target ban. It's not something that was a permanent ban or something they try and pull off. They did have a good showing in the first week of Pro League. I believe it was these two guys facing up, Oddity versus Sinister, and it was a 7-0, wasn't it?
Yeah. So maybe this will be rather a trade of maps, and we will be seeing a showdown on the third map being Coastline. I'm kind of curious to see if it does get to, if it does need to come to Coastline. I'm quite curious to see how both of those teams will pull off, because I think if my memory serves me right, it is more tipped into Oddity's favor. But with the way how coordinated Sinister were, I'd still won't be counting out the fact that maybe Sinister might be taking the third one.
Yeah, it's when you say Coastline, Oddity aren't a team I think of. Like when you say Coastline, I think of teams like Fnatic and Auglis, of course. Yeah. But I also don't think of Sinister. So I think it's a pretty good final map to close things out on if we get there. But Bank, I think Sinister are going to have a bit of a chip on their shoulder after that they're showing in the first week of Pro League.
Yeah, they definitely will have plenty of things to prove here on the second map, and this will be rather a test to can they continue that good synergy within the team after a very successful Villa, and to move on to their enemies' map pick. I mean,
I'm sure they're
yeah.
feeling pretty hyped, aren't they?
Yeah, they will be feeling pretty hot right now and pretty hyped about the whole matchup as it is right now. Whereas already they're known to be able to recover pretty well from a lost map.
Yes, that's true. It's just, I was saying that I think Oddity have got this one, and the community vote was showing it as well. But after that first map, I'm starting to worry. Like maybe Oddity are going to be struggling in this Six Masters. Like they are cursed. It would appear. But they do, of course, have two more maps to recover, I suppose.
True. Well, for now though, they still do require those 3 points if they do want to get into that bracket of for the LAN. But we are just about to start moving into Bank, map number 2, with already starting things off on offense.
Yeah, of course. Now, Cthulhu, it could come down to that final week, right? Because Zealous are on 0 points right now. Zealous aren't playing this week either because of the power plays. Kerfuffle, what exactly is going on there? So it could come down to Zealous versus Oddity next week, right?
Yeah.
3 mapper to decide which of them makes it to LAN.
Yeah, this could very much come down to, and even now looking at the whole rankings, the score difference, even between those two teams, between Zealous and Oddity, with Oddity coming out just slightly higher with, I believe, 1 score difference. So this at the moment is also the decider of which team could probably be, for now at least, claiming the spot of power plays.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with power plays, whether they will be having a potential to head to that LAN or not, seeing as they haven't played these last 2. But at the start of today's Playday, they are ranked 4th on the standings. So, if they were playing, they would be going based off of those results there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, what we saw on the ban phase was a fairly simple, a little bit more simple, ban phase, with Sinister banning out Mira and Capitao, which was pretty much stock standard here. Jackal and Echo, though, banned from Oddity now that they know that they are not planning to bring in, to ban Mute. They know that Sinister are not planning to ban Thatcher. They might be readjusting their plays.
Well, it's not that they didn't know they weren't planning on it. It's the fact that Sinister banned first, and of course didn't ban the Capitao. But
Yeah.
taking a look at the bans, it has been 3 of the same ones, except that Echo will be banned instead of the Mute this time.
And the Mute, the Echo ban, especially on this one, that is banned out. If it feels like it's initially aimed at the way how Sinister could be playing it, but at the same time, it feels like it might be a bit of a shot in the foot for Oddity as well the moment they're going to go on defense.
Thing is, of course, that Echo drone can be so powerful downstairs. Especially now, it's becoming a bit more harder to see that the camouflaged Yokai drone.
Yeah.
Sinister choosing to defend the top floor first, however, Cthulhu.
Yeah, that is a very good point to talk about as well, as the top floor is usually not that much contested. Yeah, sure.
I think he was just looking for any drones that were sitting outside.
That sound cue could also, by the way, could have thrown off and slowed down a little bit the push by Oddity.
Copper's going to be playing that dock. Now, we haven't really talked about how teams were set up or what we kind of expect to see on a defense up here. Now, that ACOG, of course, at the banana area can fight against anyone that's trying to repel at range, but it looks like Copper's okay to jump right on into the lobby right now.
Yeah, well, seeing as he's dog, he could be able to heal himself in case he does get into a little bit of a trouble. Got Legion to one to try to repel, but Copper already fallen back, so...
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Triple ACOG. Sinister might be looking into taking a whole lot more of the aggressive long-range firefights.
Yeah, Triple ACOG, we didn't touch on that either, did we, Cthulhu? But yeah, great point there. Fast gonna make sure the air jab means no one can run out of janitors.
That is correct. The breach is already starting to happen. Oh.
Denied by impact, however, Cthulhu. So that first thermite charge going to be completely shut down. Oh, and there we go. Got Legion on the window. It's gonna trade Vicious for a opening breach, I suppose. Well, not a trade, is it? It's, a frag and the opening breach. It's great stuff from Oddity to start things off with. Now Copper getting very pressured by God Legion, who fell off that window and rotated to the lobby.
He knew that there will be a push as well, the moment he saw Doc in the lobby as well.
Yeah. 5-on-3 now, though, Cthulhu. It's gone pretty bad here for the Sinister guys, but they've got a whole minute to hold out. 30 seconds can be wasted with these smoke babes, which the first one will be used now.
And that SAS shotgun is a force to be reckoned with, especially on the close range. So that is the control of the janitor's closet. Oh, there it is. There's the pump action going off.
Yeah, we're also going to see another smoke grenade come on out as Redolent shuts down Nico, but he doesn't really want to run out that door because that's where that air jab was. Oh, he's going to take some damage and go down, leaving it all up to Luna. He has found the first one in this potential clutch situation, but with 20 seconds on the clock, surely they'll be able to get this plant down with very little chance to deny it. In fact, they're not even going to need to. God Legion to shut it off, and that is the first round going heavily favored to Oddity.
Yeah, this time Oddity were able to quite easily read into how Sinister would be playing the upstairs defense, and this definitely felt more coordinated than Villa, and potentially that could be, like you said, this could have been the reason why Villa was lost. They were just not prepared for it, and it's not rather the curse in effect. But maybe it's not maybe, it is a bit too early to judge on that.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been one round, Cthulhu. One round.
But still, this was way more decisive execution of offense than all of their offensive rounds during Villa, though. I will have to say this.
Except for potentially Trophy. Remember, it was that 5-on-3 that they brought on back. So okay, yeah, it was more favored, I suppose.
Defenders, protect your
But
bombs.
now we're going to see Sinister attempt that downstairs hold.
Yeah, so the downstairs hold is much more prevalent within Bank, and with the way how lineup is set up right now for Sinister, it seems pretty much stock standard. Really, you have Smoke to deny any of the pushes, double Jaeger on the vault hallway for say a Pulse to be tossing in the C4. Could be working out pretty well, all things considered. Whereas on the side of Oddity, really, well, there is a dual hard breach with Thatcher, so.
Yeah, of course, you want that dual hard breach. Make sure you can get hatches opened as well as the walls. Bank is a map that we actually see quite a lot of Hibana bans, so I'm actually kind of surprised that the Hibana's been able to make its way through.
It's usually either Hibana or Thermite to force out the Maverick and see if you can put the other team onto a disarray, but neither of those teams actually wanted to have that option taken away from them, and interestingly enough.
Yeah, well, the Capital and the Jackal seem to be more important bans for them. But yeah, as you were saying, downstairs is a bit more prevalent. At least traditionally, it's been a lot more prevalent. Yeah. But with the new rotation, that it's been 3 seasons now. So it's still the new rotations. Teams have had to learn to adapt and overcome. And even a team like Atletico back in the day, when it was just the 2 rotation, they would like to go to the top floor first. But Copper, early frag there, and he might find a second. In fact, he will.
Wow.
See you later, Vinny. No drones before God Legion will reply. In fact, God Legion's replied with his own double.
Okay.
Cthulhu, that was Sinister starting off great, but then fluffing their lines for the next one.
Yeah, it felt like Copper initially kind of gave the call that, yeah, I got the 2 of them and I'm getting traded out, come get the 3rd play. And I don't think they've expected for the fact that God Legion would be already expecting the push from behind, because Sinister were on that kind of game throughout the whole Villa.
Either way, when you've got the first 2 kills, I think the Mozzie just getting aggressive is probably not really required, but it is going to be the 3 anchors to try and hold things off, as the Mozzie and the Jaeger have gone down.
Yeah, but on the side of offense, it is oh boy, Todd.
What's he intentionally only put 2 of the X-Kairos on there. I wonder why.
Oh.
Should
Okay,
we
so
put
he might be
yeah,
looking into.
angle?
Yeah, he might be looking at the rotation angle as that wall got completely uncontested, seeing as there was no hard breach
Attackers
denial.
have
But
located a bomb.
that's just odd for both teams, really.
Even then, it's not a wall that you'd traditionally try and deny anyway, Cthulhu. But God Legion, he's going to get aggressive on into garage, and Nico is getting pinged on out, but Nico's going to win that duel. He's aware of one in the garage as they tried to pinch him off. Redolent has made his way deep on into the bomb site. He's going to start trying to stick this plant.
15
But
seconds
is
to
there
go.
anyone from Sinister that's aware? C4's going to come on out. That does a lot of damage to Red, but doesn't quite finish him off. Vicious
Drop the diffuser.
and Luna to close things out. I thought that was going to be a bit spicy there for Vicious, but Luna watching his back is going to help him recover.
Yeah, that was a strange round. I will say that, because the way how things started off were good for Sinister, even though at the end of the first engagement, it was still a 3 against 3. But the way how Oddity positioned themselves felt slightly experimental, and the way how things were turning out for Sinister as well, not bringing any breach denial or like at least slowing down, and having only smoke to do that is just
Yeah, I like I can see it was a small amount of experimental with Todd opening up just a tiny amount of the hatch. The attempted pinch on Nico was also pretty close.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Todd
as
maybe
many
a bit
bombs
late
as
on
they
his
can.
rotate into garage, or maybe God Legion just a bit too aggressive, and it just shows, you know, we were talking about Nico and his big brain plays, just how well aware he was that it wasn't going to be just Todd pushing him. He was very aware of that stairs angle and was able to flick around and find God Legion.
Yeah, no, Nico has a fantastic game sense, and is a fantastic pickup for the team like Sinister. And as a sub, I mean, I was expecting way worse results, to be honest, seeing as just for the fact
10
that
seconds
Arnie
insertion.
would have had a bit more synergy with the team. But it seems like Nico was playing with the core pretty much throughout the whole time, really.
Yeah, well, Nico, as I said, has been scrimming over the
Attackers'
last couple of days
objective is to locate a
rather
bomb and defuse it.
a
Defenders
lot
approaching
of
kill zone.
Vishagar trying to go
boy.
for a run out and tried to like run back inside and cancel that detection timer, but he doesn't quite time it right, and no one's running forward to get spawn peaked anyway. So nice idea, but it wasn't executed in the end.
Idea, good thought in that regard. As looking at the whole setup, it's a quadruple this time ACOG setup from Sinister, doubling down on the amount of ACOGs they could bring in for this one, but no congestion as of yet for the lobby and onto those north windows.
Yeah, we did see, you know, Copper try that in the very first round, and that really did not work out for him. Like, really did not work out for him.
Scanning for electronics.
Surely he's still going to be playing around Banana, however, but the first port of call here for Oddity is make their way into the Skylight Stairwell and start opening up these walls.
Yeah, this is exactly what they would need right now. Oddity start going in with the breaches, but with the amount of breach denial that they could pull off, things could not be looking all pretty at all.
Alright, here we go. Breach will be coming out, and that's aggressive from Fisher guy. He just runs out that window and gets shut down by God Legion, who was ready for that all the way. So only, what, 40 damage done to God Legion? It doesn't really feel like that was worth it.
Not at all. Whereas, so far, still a minute and 14 to go, but Copper is now once again attempting to get that angle, but Todd, I was just about to call him Toddity, will be the one to shut that push down.
Yeah, nicely done there from Oddity. They're just like finding all these angles and making it very hard for these defenders to make any room, but that's some room being made there by Nico. Room in their heads with some headshots, but that's too little too late, as it is all up to Vicious. He has traded out Vinny, however, putting him into a 2-on-1, but there's God Legion in the Banana hallway. to shut him on down, and that's already winning CEO once again.
It seems CEO is there kind of pretty much more prepared, rather push as at least it seems like it for now. And I'm quite impressed with how well coordinated already were on this push once again, and I'm quite impressed with how Nico just keeps on just pulling off some nice double kills here and there, just continuing to open up opportunities for Sinister.
Yeah, now we spoke about, you know, the half split on Villa and how it was 4-2 to the attackers. Bank, another map that we'd have to say pretty defender sided, and of course defensive sided meta. So what do you think would be the ideal split here for Sinister to have a chance in this one? Like, I'm thinking 4-2. They need to get 4 rounds. Like, would you?
Yeah,
agree
they
there,
need to get. Yeah, they definitely need to get those 4 rounds to feel much more comfortable on the second half. And even with 3 apiece, I feel that this could be going into the hands of Oddity, really, as it just shows that they are way more prepared. Whereas still, there's at least one player of Vast, of Oddity that is being Vast, who's still on a 0 kills after 3 rounds. But
what I do want to say about that scoreboard is that it has been the God Legion show so far. There's 2 rounds, and God Legion has got 7 kills up on the board. So, you know, the rest of the team, of course, enabling him to get kills. It's not just him just getting kills out of pure skill. But yeah, great to see that kind of thing.
And it's mainly been Zafia on the LMG that was doing all the difference as well, which is quite interesting because you don't really see within the higher level of competitive play a whole lot of Zafia LMG really as well, because usually it's just the AK, it's much more versatile. But after the recent rework of the LMGs, things are looking much better for any potential LMG.
Look, I think a gun's in a good spot when people will use either or of the 2 selections, right? Like,
yeah,
and you know, sometimes one is more prevalent than the other, of course. But yeah, I think it just shows it's in a good spot. Tell us bomb site this time though, Cthulhu. Like, obviously, Sinister don't want to try and force out CEO once again after having lost it twice. Correct decision, you reckon?
Well, yeah, after 2 attempts of the CEO defense, things were not looking all well, and I don't think on the 3rd try this would be any change. So yeah, bringing in a tertiary bomb site to defend is definitely a much better choice, in my opinion, in this regard. But I'm quite curious to see because how they're going to defend, because they are still prompting to hold upstairs, all things considered.
Yeah, they are, but they've also started off a lot more successfully with a C4 through the floor onto onto... Can't quite read that. It's blurry for me. Vast, is it Vast?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that was Vast, yeah.
Drone activated.
But nonetheless, the control of upstairs, albeit that they did lose a single man, already still would have the control of the above, but once again losing yet another person to Official Guy's C4, and wow, just that's all I can say really.
This has been great from Sinister. They've, allowed them to gain control of the top of the floor. That's at the cost of 2 men, and all 5 of them surviving completely unscathed as well, Cthulhu. Like, both their kills have been C4s up through the floor. No damage has been done, although I say that now Fisher Guy has managed to get in a bit of a tangle.
Drop the diffuser.
Nice stuff from Luna.
How are already continuing to just ignore some of the angles is just all falling apart.
Yeah, some great movement by the Sinister squad as they are going to put themselves up with a flawless round here, Cthulhu.
Yeah, it certainly seems like the community vote was a little bit too predictive about too confident about the choice, because it seems that Sinister are gunning for a potential 2-0 even.
Well, what I have to say there, Cthulhu, is that Sinister were gathering the information, they were acting off that information and putting themselves at the advantage every time, right? And I don't think there was a single gunfight except for maybe that one over the desk at the end, right? 2 C4 kills, 1 shot in the side, the gunfight and then another shot in the side there by Luna. Like, there's no way you're winning that round if you're not taking gunfights head on, right? Like, you're taking gunfights, it's a 50-50 round. If most of your players are losing from
Attackers
getting
need to
shot in the
locate
back or
and defuse as
exploded,
many bombs as
it's
they can.
it's a round over.
Yeah, and if maybe it was also due to the fact that Sinister just learned that you don't want to challenge players like God Legion to a 1v1 firefight, and just decided, yeah, let's, if we don't want to challenge them for as long as possible, just use all the C4s and all the utility that we can. And hey, they proved that they can use the explosives to a very good extent on Villa, and Bank is just seeming to be the episode 2, the explosive boogaloo.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, well, Cthulhu, we've seen 4 rounds so
5
far.
seconds left.
How do you feel about that third map now? Are we going to get there, or what are you thinking?
Attackers objective is to locate a bomb and
I'd say that potentially after this round, I will be able to certainly say for a fact whether it's this we will be going into map 3 or not. Because as it stands for now, already we're able to take only a single side out of the 3 that Sinister presented so far, and only on one of those sites it was a very decisive victory. So
Yeah.
I would still say that maybe they will be able to make a comeback on defense, but as it stands right now, things are not looking well, really.
Well, I disagree, right? Because if if this bomb site is won by Sinister, they are going to have to go back to CEO for their final round. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 3v3, sorry, a 3-3 scoreline come out at the half, if that's the case. Of course, we could see Sinister adapt and win it, or we could see Oddity adapt and win the CCTV Lockers bomb site.
Yeah, everything could happen. That's why I did mention that I would probably will be making my final call after this round. But yeah,
Filthy.
filthy, absolutely nasty.
And Copper's just going to run back to... That's the Thermite!
attackers have recovered their diffuser.
That's the Thermite off the board, Cthulhu. Yeah, that's a big blow.
Knock knock.
Yeah, leaving only up to Todd to do all the breaching will be definitely seeing
He's only got one left
Oddity
too.
into only with one Excalibur. So that this will now be had to be put onto the CCTV wall.
Well, a minute 15 on the clock, and this is not looking great here for Oddity. They're going to breach here, but that's not going to be big enough for them to get through. They're not going to be able to plant in that default spot. Maybe Todd might be able to stay. No, there's still reinforcement behind that. So
I think if you leave just a smidge of that reinforcement below, you can still crouch walk through it, I believe. But I don't think he actually got the measurements right.
well, let's see if they're going to be able to do that. Of course, they still have that smoke and a couple of C4s to contest with. Nico holding at range.
Oh, mate. This could be
Very-
filthy.
Yeah, very wary of that stairs presence, but looks like no one is approaching. I think Oddity are lost. 25 seconds, and they're going for a rotate, Cthulhu. They're just going to jump down these hatches.
Oh, no.
Last getting ready to do just that as 15 seconds hits the clock. Here we go. God Legion's coming through garage, and he's going to find 2 for it. Oh, it's a bit messy, but it ends up just being God Legion on his own, trying to run in from garage. This round is over, Cthulhu. There's no way he wins this from here. There we go. Vicious to shut it down, and Sinister take the lead here.
I'm lost for words, really, Monkey, because they dedicated so much time to try to go through server and CCTV, and all of a sudden they decide, let's switch around. We're not going through there. I was like, at least try to dedicate. You can still rush in and go for the push and go for the peaks, but no, they just, the moment they dropped down the hatch, they got slaughtered.
Thing is, Oddity showed some late round adaptation, but it was way too late. Sloppy mid-round adaptation, right? Like, it's good to show some mid-round adaptation, like when your thermite goes down to change something up, but not in the last 25 seconds, right?
Yeah.
That's way too late.
Yeah, that's just poor form to a certain point, you could say, and yeah, it's just
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
that's a no from me, really. The way
Yeah.
how things are going, because 3-5. I mean, 3-2, and potentially we might be looking into, well, maybe 3-3.
Look at the difference here in the scores, right? Like it's top heavy for Oddity, whereas it's very evenly spread here for Sinister. God Legion is doing all he can, whereas Sinister are playing as a team.
Yeah, and if Sinister will continue showing that they're that coordinated, I
10 seconds to go.
yeah, I won't be surprised if we'll be seeing the end score showing that they would win. Albeit that
Go.
with 3-3, if Oddity will manage to win this
Attackers
this
must
site
locate
once
and
again,
defuse a bomb.
they still are going to have a chance, but honestly, the percentage is dwindling, really. At least in my eyes here.
Well, one round in it, Cthulhu is an official guy. Misses that drone with that very hard to control SMG-11.
Yeah. But on the I do want to also point out that there we go. Okay, he finally connects it with a drone. But the setup that Sinister have, I think the only difference is Copper on Castle. I don't think we did see him before on the site.
It's not going to be the difference maker in this round, though. Cthulhu will have to.
Yeah, we can only see because personally I would think that it would be able to slow it down only, but oh, what is this angle?
They haven't fully reinforced on us through the wall in the conference.
Oh wow, okay.
room.
You're talking about the big brain angles.
Yeah, but that's what Nico's very well known
Attackers
for as
drop
well as
the
a content
diffuser.
creator, isn't it? For
Yeah,
some very obscure angles.
yeah, the man has a knack for it.
The practicality of some of them, however, does give me a bit of a head scratcher sometimes.
It is slightly questionable, but nonetheless, if you are able to pull something similar to this off, I would imagine that this would leave the opponent scratching their head as well.
Well, is that the wall already opened? It looks like that, I believe.
The attacker's bomb
I don't
diffuser
think I
has
did
been
hear
dropped.
the sound cue though for that breach as well.
Yeah, but definitely.
Attackers
Oh wait, there it is.
That's the second one, I believe, Cthulhu. We'll have to wait and see in a sec, I suppose. But
Yeah.
it really looked like from that top-down angle that was being held was that one was already opened, but there's only a minute left on the clock, and it is still a 5-on-5.
Yeah, it's just about to be a bloodbath once again, as they need to get rid of Nico, who is holding a very long angle. Vast potentially might be looking into attempting to pull that off, but really, 40 seconds to go. Things are just about to get started.
Yeah, and they are both opened as Vinny finds Copper, trying to hide an electrical. Trying to wait for the perfect moment to go for the backstab, but with 30 seconds, they're going to have to jump on in this bomb site any moment now, Cthulhu.
Yeah, again, 20 seconds left to go. They are banking on the last moment play, and this is not the play here, really.
Well, it is right now, as it is a 5-on-3, but this plant could be denied. In fact, it will be, but it's gone from bad to worse in terms of man count. All up to Vicious, and I believe he might have been below, thanks to that C4 coming up through the floor. Here he comes on the flank. Nice shot onto God Legion, but Vinny to close it out there, putting us to a 3-on-3 half.
3 apiece, and already once again showing that, yeah, they can take the side, but I'd rather be more curious about whether they can perform on the defense now that they're going to be swapping over. Which, if that's the case, then surely we will be able to see Coastline, really.
Yeah, Vinny getting a few nice long shots with that hollow sight there. Headshots as well in that final round. As for the attack from Sinister, I wonder what they're going to show us. Like, pretty stock standard stuff doesn't always work 100%.
Yeah, I definitely will have to agree with you in that regard, but curious to see how will God Legion and Mozzie will play
Attackers
things
need to
out,
locate
because
and defuse the
and
bomb.
on the side of Sinister, how will Monty be realized? Because they don't have IQ, so no, say, tracking of pulse or getting any information on where the utility is, and only bringing in a Thatcher. Yeah.
Well, there is no Kaid to deny any of those hatches, and no bandit or anything. It just really depends on whether this roam that I think we can see being set up is going to affect them that much at all.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, well, we'll only have to see because right now already will start need to pull out all of their big brain plays because being put to a 3-on-3 with a mad disadvantage is not what you will want right now after the first half, really.
Yeah, a bit of a really big roam. Lots of rotates set up, isn't it?
It looks like it has a fair bit of emphasis actually being made on this. And not a whole lot of emphasis on defense of the garage is also coming out.
Oh, there we go. There's going to be a Monty shut down there by Todd from the bomb site. I'm going to see the prone on as well. Vinny. What is going on, Cthulhu? This is looking very sloppy here from Sinister.
That is very odd as to how Sinister tried to play it, and I don't think they've expected the crossfire that Oddity would have.
Yeah, the fact that there was no one to deny that crossfire as well was, I suppose, the real strange part for me. Here we go, though. Fish guy gonna try and get a bit closer to the site. At least both hard breaches are up here for Sinister, if you want to look at silver linings here.
The attackers bombed the future.
Yeah. Well, they're still, yeah, like you said, yeah, they're still able to go for the breach. They still have the essentials here. So, essentially, might be seeing just barge in and breach. Really.
Yeah, they're trying to plant hella early as well. We can see the C4 come on out. No, it's not going to connect as it's going to be shot in midair, but that's going to be the down by God Legion and the finish off by the Smoke Babe. Fisher guy no longer in this one here, but God Legion took a lot of punishment, but he is still alive. There's Nico to find Todd. I believe that was the one who was on the roam. So what do Sinister do from here, Cthulhu? I think they're completely locked out at this point.
They are indeed. While they still have one more minute, I do think that they need to start potentially see if they can relocate over to maybe the main stairs and see if they can go for the push there. But that will be probably their only option because trying to force the server push is not the play here, in my opinion, really.
Well, 40 seconds. They're going to have to go deep, of course. Full send it. So much more utility to contend with. Vicious nearly does the team kill. There we go. Vicious to finally shut down God Legion. But Nico's going to try and stick this. He's dead. He can't find it. That was so close, but not close enough. As it is all up to Vicious. The Smoke Babe cutting him off from that bomb site. So he's going to try and, okay, check his flank and then go back. But no, that's another Smoke Babe down. Cthulhu, I think this might be all over and over in this round.
It looks like with 10 seconds left to go, Vicious on Slither of Health, and any peak would pretty much be his demise. 5 seconds to go, and there it is. Fast will be the one to close it out, so 2 rounds in a row. Was it 2 rounds in a row? No, first round.
Well, it is 2 rounds in a row, as I did in the previous
defense,
the previous background, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 rounds in a row for them, and yeah, maybe Oddity might still be able to pull this back in.
Look, I'm feeling map 3. That's all I can say here, Cthulhu.
You feeling map 3? Well, I'll roll with you on this one, really. As certainly seeming like Oddity are starting to get back into the swing of things here. But Executive Lounge and CEO Office. Now, this is the side where Oddity were able to take it quite convincingly every time. But I'm curious to see how well can they defend it and what will be the response from Sinister after those 3 times of them losing this very site.
Let's do some theory crafting here, right?
Alright.
Cthulhu. The fact that Sinister tried to force out CEO, so they attempted it first, then they attempted it again 1 round later. They won all those other rounds, right? But because they tried CEO twice so quickly, it meant they had to finish there. Whereas if you rotate between 3 bomb sites just once, they could have only defended CEO twice. So we could be looking at a 4-2 half instead, if they'd gone for CEO as their 3rd choice rather than their 2nd choice, or 1st/2nd.
Yeah, well, maybe it was kind of their confidence slash
5 seconds left.
ego kind of kicking in at some point, being that hey, we kind of lost on a little bit of a
Defuse it.
odd play, and maybe that they were not expecting that, or they were actually prepared for this side. But yeah, I certainly would agree with you that if Sinister would have went for a completely well, for the stock standard three round rotation of the maps, that would have been a completely different story here, really.
Well, yeah, assuming those rounds went a bit differently, but you know, we can only go off what statistics we've been handed and
Bomb has been
this
located.
map so far, of course. Oops.
That's a bit of an oopsie, really. Yep. That's not what Luna wanted as well, and you could have seen how a little bit disappointed she was.
And that's what Fisher Guy wanted, as he is gonna find Vast while he's rappelling on the windows. Shuts down the Maestro nice and early on.
Yeah, a good start to get rid of the Maestro, as that has been the big issue on the Oddity side to deal with, as Nico on that Maestro was shredding. So exactly same here for Sinister. They managed to get rid of him pretty quickly, and that's one of the long angle holders is pretty much off the board.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Well, they're gonna start getting ready for that breach, of course. Impact grenades potentially to come out. Either Redolent or Vinny could have them on board. Oh,
Could
Todd!
very much. Oh,
Very lucky to be alive there, as he's going to be running from those bullets, sending him to just a tiny bit of HP left.
yeah. So now being forced to kind of just get back to the side and try to hold the angles, this could work
hello.
out pretty well. Oh,
Hello, where's the flank watch there? Thermite off the board there. Beautiful stuff from Oddity there. Looks like none of those walls will be breached now, Cthulhu.
and that is a massive hindrance for Sinister, since they don't have any more of the hard breaches. They will need to be funneled through all those choke points, and that's exactly what Oddity would want right now.
Yeah, of course, and with 45 seconds on the board, they're going to have to go very, very soon here. They do have, well, I was going to say man advantage, but no, it's even. Just Todd is very, very lit. Fisher Guy trying to make his presence known from Banana. Oh, he's seen the flank, but oh, he's going to go down there. Todd, low HP, doesn't matter. Copper, however, trades him on back. Can't follow up onto the castle, however, but Copper's very well aware that he has to be wary of Todd's presence in the lobby. 15 seconds, and they really need to go, and they still have two repelling outside. You see the Valkyrie drop on down as Todd also trades out Copper. Nico to go down, leaving it all up to Luna. This is a round that started great, but is going to close out horribly for Sinister, as already put themselves up to 5.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. This is just, yeah, Sinister. First of all, losing the Thermite that early in through the round, and essentially after that, just collapsing with their offense. Just, that was a little bit painful to see, really. After there's such prominent play on Villa, this is definitely not what they would have wanted it right now.
Yeah, well, as soon as that Thermite went down, I think that was all she wrote there, Cthulhu.
Certainly looks like it, as Teller's Office and Archives will be the next choice for defense. Vast bringing in a castle rather than the Pulse, and 5-3 will be the scoreline so far, dictating the fact that Oddity did not drop a single defense round so far, meaning we might be seeing a match point here.
Yeah, very potentially, of course. This is the third choice bomb site. Now, if you cast your minds back, we did see Sinister defend this bomb site flawlessly.
Yeah, so this would be a challenge, well, to a certain point, yeah, challenge for Oddity to pull off the same feat. But as long as they will be able to pull things off and get the W even with the clutch, that's all that they would really need.
5 seconds remaining.
Interestingly enough, Oddity are setting up the very similar play with having a, well, kind of extra movement space within the open areas like admin office, and having a fair few hatches open for some a long big brain rotation.
Yeah, big roam setup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty standard though, like it is just something we see fairly regularly. Looks like it is just going to be Vast on the top floor. Right? He's got Todd playing on the stairs. In fact, Vast isn't going to stick around for much longer.
Yeah, certainly looks like it. As just bailing out is definitely what works for him for now, but Sinister looking at potentially getting some revenge for that. A bit of a
Attackers bomb diffuser
certain
has
point
been
humiliation of a round previously.
Here we go though, drones entering in to see this top floor. Not sending their drones too far ahead quickly because that's how you lose them, being reckless with your drones. In fact, looking at the silhouettes there, I believe one might be hiding in elevators.
Yeah, well, Sinister being extra cautious. C4 is being reaped, but to no
Attackers have
avail.
recovered their diffuser.
Just yet, with Fisher Guy now getting a little bit all sus about where could be the info gathering happening. There it is.
Yeah, pulls out the little scanner thing. The RED scanner is the correct word. Correct name for it. Breaching charge is going to be going off. Is going to start finding these angles through the floor. Nico almost finding one of Vast, but no, he's not going to stick around there for much longer. And Todd's in a great position to go for a flank.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
If he manages to even get one kill from here, which I'm pretty sure he would, this would impact the push of Sinister quite severely.
Yeah, with a minute to go, they're going to have to start pushing, and you know they've taken this control and opened up the floor, hoping to find some picks, but they've had very little success from it.
And not a whole lot of ground as well gained by Sinister after them trying to breach open a couple of floor pieces up on the second floor. This thing's about to get real messy in a sec.
Yeah, here we go. Todd has gone up top. No one is there to challenge him, however,
Attackers have located a
Cthulhu.
bomb.
Yeah, but he will have all the upper ground to go through, as he might be able to utilize those breaches from above just well.
Yeah, there's Copper to find Red before God Legion trades him on back, and Luna's going to situate herself on the site, going to attempt the plant, but is Todd going to deny it from above? Well, looks like he can't quite find the angle. He tries to go for the flank, but he's shut down, and that's the plant confirmed. Vast and Vinny to retake, and Vast is running the shotgun.
Okay, I'm officially lost for words as vicious as claiming life of Vinny. It is all up to the pistol shotgun Vast.
Yeah, there we go. Shut down by Fisho in the end there. All right, that's a round on the board for Sinister. I'm not quite sure if Oddity did well, right? They like delayed 2 minutes without losing a single player, but when it came to it, they just lost all the fights, got shot in the back, and tried to go for flanks that didn't work out.
Yeah, it felt like they had a good idea about how to defend it, but ultimately the execution of it was not perfect. And I do think that the fact that Vaz didn't really have a whole lot of open sights from above pretty much finished that off, really.
Locker's CCTV room this time.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Looks like we're going to see Copper on that Monty once again, though, Cthulhu.
And yeah, and for this specific push, it's hasn't been really a very prevalent play at all. Well, or at the very least, it's just the sheer play that Copper tried to pull off got pretty quickly shut down by the fact that Monty just got crossfired.
Activating camera.
5 seconds
Yes,
to
indeed.
insertion.
Hopefully it can be a bit more successful this time, but they are setting up for that very heavy roam once
Locate
again.
a bomb and defuse it.
And seeing as already bringing in just about the similar set of operators could be the run for them once again, as they were able to secure some of the good plays on this downstairs site.
Bomb has been located.
Well, Cthulhu. Looks like it is going to be Copper making his way into server room very early on once again. No one here to contest him, or, well, no one for him to contest with. It's like God Legion, Todd smartly back to the bomb sites this time, and I think Copper's changed his mind. No, he's going to jump on a drone first.
Yeah. For now, though, Sinister will be going in for the take of the upstairs, as
Drop the bomb diffuser.
seems like a pretty stock standard push. Not a whole lot of utility or mana resources will be dedicated, as the rest of the team will be potentially looking into taking the control of the server really quickly.
Well, yes, they have been much swifter this time. Copper going to be able to push his way into the bomb site, of course, with that big shield in front of him. And it's still a 5-on-5, which is so much better for Sinister than what it was last time on this bomb site.
Yeah, well, firstly, there wasn't a whole lot of contention really of the server side, and Copper didn't really get overly aggressive. So, thankfully for him, it is a little bit of an extra free reign in the server. But I'm curious to see how will the next push will be executed, because with a minute 12 to go, and already now Voss is starting to use his smoke grenades. Things might get really hairy close to the end of the round.
Yeah, Sinister really want to start baiting out this utility nice and early on to make sure it's not there to deny him when there is no time to recover.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Oops, Nico's going to do the old accidentally drops the diffuser. See, the thing is, that Pulse is gathering all that information. If they can throw one of their Thatcher grenades on the wall there, it would completely deny that. But Red, he's just going to shoot Nico there. Who needs a C4 or a smoke bay when you can just perforate the head with some bullets?
Who needs the utility when you can just click heads, and that's exactly what Red showed us. Those smoke babes still having one more.
Oh,
Voss is doing some good work.
yeah, Red getting very aggressive there, but yeah, time has not been greatly used here by Sinister. There we go. Fisher guy's just going to go balls to the wall right into the bomb site. He's found two before he's finally traded on out. C4 going to be sent in. Another C4. It's going to deny the plant, but there's Luna to find one. Luna to find two.
What?
Sinister managed to find that round somehow.
I mean, that was a fantastic scavenging by Sinister after a little bit of a unlucky start and losing so much time. But that was the round for Oddity to take, and now being at a 5 apiece, I'm starting to get quite a few questions really in here.
Yeah, Sinister, could they be on that comeback train? Choo-choo in chat if you believe so. I'm not keeping an eye on chat, so if the moderators have to deal with that, no, that's toxic. That's toxic. I didn't say that.
Monkey. But talking about the plays, Oddity will be choosing to try CCTV once again in their hopes of gaining that match point once again. And to be honest, after the last round, really, I'm a bit questioning. Looking at the scoreline, God Legion, once again, it's still his show. 14-7. Whereas the next big fragger is on the side of Sinister with 10, being Fisher Guy.
Yeah, Fisher Guy. He's he's a player that is very mechanically gifted, right, Fisher Guy? But it seems like some maps he really has trouble getting going, and some maps he just goes absolutely wild, doesn't he?
Yeah, I would certainly agree with you. As the more he practices those maps, the more kind of the gift is being shown here, really. And albeit that you can say that for pretty much literally every player. The more you practice the map, the better you are at it. But I definitely have to agree. He has some fantastic mechanical skill for it, and I do think a few people underappreciate that.
Yeah, well, they aren't sending that Monty right through the tunnel, sewer tunnel, early on this time. Interestingly enough. Was it Oddity were the team that were doing that great denial with the impact grenades? I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that yet.
Yeah, well, for the downstairs push, I don't think there's a whole lot of options how to do the denial of...
No,
you mean the denial of push?
Yeah, they were
Bomb
taking out
located
the
by
planter by
attackers.
tossing 2 quick impact grenades at him. So
Um,
surprised they haven't been trying to pull that one out here.
yeah, maybe they just kind of trying to get over their heads really with some of the plays. To be honest, really.
Well, they can see there's a roam setup, but then they can also see that there is no roam, or at least not one that I can see with these silhouettes.
Yeah, for now it's just a pretty swift taking of the control of the ground floor, which seems to have been pretty much given away by Oddity to Sinister, and already 2 players, well, make it 3 actually, are already trying to go for the breach in.
Yeah, Copper's in. He's got the diffuser on board. I think that was that first impact grenade coming on out there, Cthulhu. So obviously that's why they're bringing that Monty, to make that impact and off very difficult for the side of Oddity.
With both of the walls now opened up in the server, now this should be a easier job of preventing some of the plays from
Bomb
Oddity.
has been located.
Copper going to situate himself in that corner, perhaps, and attempt that plant. Now, they have just be careful of Redolent's position, because if you remember last time, that's what completely destroyed Nico. Maybe the smoke grenades are going to come out a little bit earlier. Yes, they are.
Drop the diffuser.
So Nico going to jump on in. He's got the Monty in front to cover him and the smoke grenades, but oh, that smoke babe's not taking him down. In fact, they're going to get this diffuser down. 5v5. We're going to have to see Oddity try and retake this one here.
Yeah, but look at how many people on the side of Sinister are already tagged up. 3 of them. All things considered, though, Luna will be the one grabbing the kill into God Legion.
Here we go, though. Time is on their side here, Sinister. There is Vinny to find Fisher. However, Luna watching this hatch. This is going to be very difficult for Oddity to do anything. Luna, going to actually go down in the end there, Cthulhu. This retake could work, but time really a quarter left on it. See the aggressive pushes as these players are falling like flies, leaving it all up to Vinny on the flank. He drops the hatch and Vicious to shut him down. And I don't think anyone expected this, Cthulhu. We've got Sinister on match point.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed, first of all, on the fact that Oddity lost that round and with literal minimal man disadvantage. And I'm amazed how well Sinister are really playing, because they managed to kind of recollect themselves after what was 3 rounds in a row lost, and managed to recollect themselves and get themselves back on foot and pushing it to match point. I mean, this is very close to being a 2-0, really.
Yeah, you know, this one round in it, and we'll be saying GG. Like, where has this Sinister been, Cthulhu?
I'm not sure, man. Really, it's as if it's just maybe the pressure kind of kicked in for Sinister. Maybe they just prepared way more for the game against Oddity rather than when they were against power plays, because all the odds were in Oddity's favor. All our predictions were in favor of Oddity, especially after that Pro League. And now Sinister are proving us wrong, which I'm still loving it. I enjoy when the underdogs are pretty much proving me wrong on predicting, saying, yeah, the top dogs will win.
Not just like it's the underdogs proving you wrong, but it's also proving that community vote.
Yeah, proving the community wrong as well. Okay,
it's not over yet, so we can't really get too ahead of ourselves. But this is 81%. If you remember, voted for Oddity. So it is definitely unprecedented, the scoreline we're seeing right now.
Yeah. Well, for now though, 2 minutes and 40 seconds will be the decider potentially as to whether Sinister will be claiming the advantage in the Six Masters bracket even further or not. But seeing as the setup was quite well executed by Oddity, as far as I remember, things might work out for them. Wait, where did that X-Kairos go?
Looks like they're going to open up the reinforced walls down the long hallway. This Fisher guy can sit here and pretty well deny anyone trying to make their way up and down that hallway. That cuts off a fair few rotation points for Oddity.
Yeah, as being able to rotate that large chunk of the ground could definitely work out, but that is if they can keep their player up on those windows
Attackers
for as
drop
long
the
as they
diffuser.
possibly can.
A bomb has been located.
Meanwhile, though, so Luna will be holding their angle. So the first E1D comes out for Nico to grab the kill into God Legion, and oh boy,
That was a mighty long spray there, Cthulhu. Either way, he took 50 damage for his trouble there. But the members of Oddity, they look a bit shell-shocked, don't they? They are just sitting on site, holding these positions. Do you recall they did win this bomb site earlier in the defensive half? Twice, in fact. Oh, sorry, no, just the once.
yeah.
And there's going to be Copper finding Vinny, who is stuck in a corner. Luna to find Red as well. Cthulhu 2 on 5. I think we might be having Sinister take this win. Todd will find Fisher Guy down below as he is detected by the EE1D, so it's not confirmed yet, but there's a possibility. 2 on 3. Cthulhu, could Sinister actually end up throwing this one here?
Attackers
Oh,
activating.
well, it doesn't seem to be yet, as 1v3 and the plant did go down. Everything is looking now in favor of Sinister. My goodness. This is close.
Just Vast here in the 1 on 3, as you said. He has to retake Cthulhu. He's gone low, 25 HP. He's going to find one and down one as the diffuser hits half. He's going to get the wall bang off as well. Vast, I can't even see how much HP you have left. 1 is all he's got on it. He can tap this diffuser, which he is going to do so, but Luna's just going to bully him with the lifeline, and to close it out there, Sinister take this one 7-5.
That is like, to say that this is a feels bad for Oddity is to say literally nothing. This is the biggest understatement, but well played though for Sinister.
Yeah, you're speechless, aren't you?
I'm lost for words because I had like the notes written down saying if Oddity are playing with Todd, this will be their game to win and they will be able to grab those 3 points. But it seems that their overall chance for Six Masters will be quite literally on the final day of the online section.
Yeah, it's going to come down to them versus Zealous. Now, we couldn't see Zealous beat Oddity next week, could we? Like,
I mean, with the way how things are going right now, this is definitely on the cards, Monkey.
look, I remember coming into the Six Masters, I think it was either Dev or Raven said that the only teams that Oddity have to watch out for are Auglis, and I think the other one they said was Acme.
Yeah. This time they need to watch out for literally all the teams, and especially when they're going to go for land, because on land there will be even pressure from all the crowd and all the, just the general presence. This time, like, online portion, they should have won that, really. Like, all things considered, as much as I love Sinister, this was Oddity's map for, map and match for taking.
Yeah, so Sinister looking so much better with Nico in there, and I'm not sure if it is just the Oddity cursed on cursed here in the Six Masters, or if it is just Sinister finally finding their groove.
Well, for those that have just tuned in, though, we do have a graphic to show how did the match 1 progress through. So we do have a win by Sinister on Villa, which was, I believe, 7-3, yeah. And then Bank, which was supposed to be the buffer map for Oddity to quickly win, get themselves going for map number 3, was completely, close to the end forfeited. It's a 5-7, and I'm shocked, Monkey.
Yeah, I am as well. It was 7-5 on that final map. It was 4 rounds in a row for Sinister to close it out. They were 3-5 down, if you recall. Great mental fortitude, and I must say, I'm impressed by Sinister, and I'm keen to see more of this squad.
I'm keen to see more of the squad, especially if they decide to bring in Nico a couple more times, because I do want to say that for a sub, he was he slided in perfectly. Like
Yeah,
as if
super sub, wasn't he?
he's the super sub for Sinister, and yeah, like we talked before, the big brain plays and his just general game sense just worked perfectly there. So on the side of MVPs, I definitely give from Sinister. I definitely give my my vote to Nico. Really,
Yeah, coming in as a sub last second. Well, not last second. It was,
well,
they, of course,
yeah.
scrimmed with him a few days before. But coming in as a sub can always be very difficult. I think the whole of the Sinister team once again was very impressive. Like, remember how I pointed out halfway through the map how close the Sinister scorelines were. Like, they were definitely playing as a team, and they managed to pick up the W altogether.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is it for now for the first match between Sinister and Oddity. We do have one more match, ladies and gentlemen, being Acme versus Orglas, which I'm quite curious, quite keen and curious to see how it will unveil. And yeah, we will be going on a short break, so don't go too far away, as we'll see you in a little bit to continue the spectacle that is the Six Masters Online section.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on in for the Six Masters. We have just finished that first best of 3 with Sinister taking it down 2-0. I am Manic, I'm joined by Monkey. How you feeling after that one, mate? You just got to cast a barn burner.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's not kind of what I expected, but also kind of like I knew it was on the cards. Sinister have definitely been in a bit of a slump lately, and
Yep.
you know, I think we might be seeing their return to form. Whether that can hold though, I don't know. Like it was getting to the point where I was starting to question that maybe Sinister weren't as good anymore. But you know, I think I can finally put it down to, you know, them trying to kick that slump.
Yeah, so they've bounced back, and now we head into our second best of 3 of the day, which is going to be Acme. Well, it's actually our second and last best of 3, unfortunately, but Acme taking on August. Now, both of these teams are at the top of the ladder at the moment with, I believe, 3 wins each, as in 3 wins in the best of 3. So both on 9 points. Sinister now joined them. How are you feeling about this one? This is a top of the table clash.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, that fight for first seed, isn't it? It's.
Yep.
Assuming both teams, of course, win their matchups in the final week. But whoever wins here would definitely be, you know, looking better coming into the MEO LAN.
No, definitely will be. Obviously, I think this is obviously more maybe for the bragging rights than it might be because obviously they're both going to head to LAN at this point. I don't think statistically there's a way that they don't head to LAN. Obviously, seeding will play a part, so I guess seeding is something to fight for. But in terms of that, it's definitely bragging rights at the moment. Acme, you know, they could definitely knock on the doorstep of August. Do you think, though, August are undefeated so far in, obviously, Six Masters and undefeated in Pro League as well? They've only drawn 1 match in Pro League. So, you know, these guys are coming in hot and heavy. What are your thoughts? Are we going to see Acme take the fight to August? Is it going to be the full best of 3?
I think it's going to be a 2-mapper. Acme are a very good team, though. They're definitely on the up and up, and you know they only missed out on Pro League by the skin of their teeth, and also like they thought they'd made it as well. They just had a few issues with the way the rules were working out, and then they thought they'd made it in, but they didn't realize that they hadn't. So I think you know they're a team that's on the up and up, and I think they can only get better. But August, they've got that experience, they've got their pedigree, and you know they've got that synergy as well. So I think August should have this one fairly easily.
Now we head to Villa first, which is the pick of Acme, I believe, which we haven't actually seen them pick in Six Masters, nor have we seen August pick it. They might have played it on like on a third map, or maybe by another team that's picked it. But this will be the first time we see Acme specifically pick Villa in Six Masters. Are they going to be prepared against a team like this?
Well, Villa is a map that has that Acme played quite a lot in the Challenger League, you know, in their effort to get to Pro League. So it's not a map that they're no strangers to. August have had a bit of a rocky past on Villa as well. I think Sinister last season actually managed to pull off a win or at least a draw against them. So I know it's not their greatest map. So you did say it was Acme's pick, correct?
Yes, Acme's pick, meaning August want to start on defense.
So, yeah, of course, every team wants to, don't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think that if this goes to 3 maps, Acme are definitely picking up Villa here.
Okay, interesting. So, wait and see how this one actually does unfold. Of course, we are seeing the Buck and the Maverick band out. Anything that you kind of see out of the ordinary there on the attacking picks?
Well, the Buck ban is a bit strange. Villa, of course, has tons of those floors that can be destroyed, so obviously they're very worried about that vertical presence. As for the other bans, Maverick is actually a little strange as well.
Yep. Think you'd more see like a Thermite or a Habana, maybe a Thatcher?
Yeah, or maybe even Capitao. That's something big that we've been seeing banned quite a lot lately. I wonder why they're taking the Maverick. I think there's going to be quite a lot of that juggle of, can we deny the Thermite charge on the wall kind of going off. And so without the Maverick, it can't be opened directly.
Rightio, we do head to AVG, as you like to call it, Monkey.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
It really does, doesn't it? It's just it just flows. It's just a nice flowing technique of it. Rightio.
It's not even like proper... what's it called? Like when you make things just the
abbreviation,
first abbreviation, right?
Yeah.
It's AVG. AV is the first two letters in aviator, but it just flows, doesn't it?
It does. It's just got a nice flow. And like when you're a commentator, it's all about the flow. It's all about the ebbs and flows of this. So we do head to the first round. I've got to ask you, Monkey, because I always like to get the thoughts and opinions. What do you think the scoreline's going to look like at the end? Do we see Acme actually taking this one?
I think it's going to be... I actually think we're going to go to overtime.
Okay.
I don't know the result in overtime, but I'm just feeling an OT today.
Yeah, I like it. You're going to be bold to make these kind of calls. So let's see whether we actually do end up seeing that kind of overtime. Obviously, we haven't really talked about who we've seen picked up. We do have the smoke and the echo. Quite a lot of utility and gadgets on that defensive side. They do have the IQ on the attacking side, so obviously will be some sort of pain in the backside. But
one thing we actually haven't mentioned that I think would have a pretty big impact on this map is the fact that we're going to see Acme playing with a substitute in Kata.
okay.
Now, I believe it's Strider who's can't make it.
Yes, that is correct.
Make it early to this match, so he's going to have to sub in for map 2, I believe, is the plan. But Kata's, he's been in the community for quite a while, but I don't think he's been like on a competitive team since like 2017 or something. It's been a hot minute, right? Like a fair while. So he's obviously maybe a bit of a hindrance here. Like, I don't want to be harp on him too badly. Like he's a player who knows what to do, but whether he can actually translate that into actually doing it is it's going to have to be seen to be believed, I suppose.
Taking a fair bit of control early on there on the attacking side. Obviously, with that Jackal, it will kind of push Ethan out of position, I'd say. But they might just be able to switch and bait for Emo Rin. Now that he's gone, they might think it's clear. I mean, probably not likely, but maybe Emo Rin does find one. Anyway, live droning does obviously give away the position, so that's all but nullified there.
Yeah, well, they do have Derpay on that Yokai drone, going to be able to gather that information and pass it along. Looks like Hayward wants to get aggressive from red stairs. So here we go. The peak onto Emo Rin will be coming out any moment. And Kata, he will win that. Sticks also onto Ethan. I talk trash about Kata and he's gone and prove me wrong straight away.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem, right? A dark horse can come in and just completely sweep it out. So you do need to be careful, obviously. But let's just wait and see whether that will actually impact. Well, it's obviously going to impact the round. There's no more goo mines to be thrown down for the remainder of the full minute that we have, as a lot of control has been started to expand. It is going to be Neophyter trying to go for a free frag. He'll actually find one in the meantime. Diesel picks up 2, swapping in and out of the sidearm. Nicely done. It's a 2v3, and this actually isn't looking too good for Acme after the opening 2 picks.
Yeah, it started off great, then things went a bit wibbly wobbly, didn't it?
Oh,
just Kata, full HP, but Stig's very lit here.
A bomb has been located.
And they know that they've got to go for the fights. Neophyter forces the hand of Stigs. I believe the information might have been able to kind of be passed on by that Echo. So, Kata, this is near impossible. It's the sub coming in that's going to need to clutch. Obviously, there's an opportunity to, but my goodness, it would have to be some pretty damn sharp shots. Not going to make it past Neophyter, and that is the first round for August on the board. And look, I gotta say, Monkey, after those first 2 kills, that should have been Acme's round.
Yeah, it definitely should have been, but it was some great calculated aggression from August, wasn't it? We saw Neophyter getting aggressive just off of the very little information they had. That worked out for them. And Diesel, I want to highlight real quick that the shotgun kill he got was the very last round he had for his shotgun. He'd used all the rest of it remodeling.
That's unreal.
That last one nets him that kill, of course, and then the SMG-11 would be his primary from that point. But I think with Kata coming in, I might want to change my prediction.
Yep, that's okay. I'll let you. Are you gonna change it now, or are you gonna lock it in?
I'm gonna lock it in because
double down.
I've already made a prediction. I may as well stick by it. But I knew that, but then I forgot about it. That Kata was subbing in, but it wasn't Kata that lost that round though. Kata did his job. When you can say you get 1 kill a round, you're doing your job for the team.
Yep.
Yeah, he did his job there. The rest of the team is what fell without finding themselves a kill.
So round number 2, no change on that defensive side. Did we see the Capital? I don't believe we did in that previous round. Well,
No, Capital wasn't brought out, if I recall.
rightio. There we go. And the Thermite obviously in for Habana. That's going to be a small change as well, but now, Impact's being Impacts, it'll be interesting to see how they actually bring this one in. Obviously, a lot of the time we do see the attack coming from that master bedroom, generally putting the Thermite charges down on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's always, I must admit, it's always enjoyable to see that kind of confrontation, the back and forth between the bandit tricks and all the utility that you can bring on that attacking side to see what happens. But let's wait and see whether they can actually get that wall open, as it looks like that might be where they put some of the attention early on.
Yeah, of course. Now, we have seen like some ways that this wall is denied, of course, not just through the bandit, but through those impacts over the roof, or like over the little gap between the reinforcement and the roof. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone with those impacts. Perhaps Diesel's got them on board.
Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I think they actually opened the flooring on the opposite side of that wall. So maybe, just maybe, they do have someone on that lower, on the lower floor playing for that vertical play as well to help deny. So that'll be a pain in the backside if that's actually the case.
I think that floor being opened up as well is to deny the thermite charge being put on the ground to just make open that foot like height hole.
Yep.
Yeah, if you've seen that. So that means, if there's no floor there, they can't plant it on just the steel bars. So that could completely deny that idea as well.
Oh, Emo Rin's getting pressured there. Haywood's going to make the most of it. As unfortunately, not really too much he's going to be able to do, even if he finds the one. There was another closing in on the corner. They are starting to take small control, of course, of that southern side of the map, and will slowly make their way in toward landing red stairs area as they put a little bit more pressure. Now they just need to be careful. Losing that player with all that control, oh no, that's one of the last players you really want to be seeing going down in that situation. The Echo now not going to be having the impact, but can they do it again? Can they bring it back from a 3 versus 5 already being put under the pump there? Ethan will be taken down by Kata. A 2 versus 4, not favouring this defensive side in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, Nearfighter and Diesel with it all to do here, Manic. With 50 seconds, this is looking pretty grim.
Certainly is. Astronomy obviously being held by Diesel, but they've just got so many different angles that they're going to have to be careful of, because they've had to leave bedroom, and that's going to be the insta-pick coming in from Dino. Cleaned up by Hills, of course, and that is a very clean round. It all started with dropping that initial player, I believe it was Emo Rin, across in toward Games Room, and from there was no pressure, fell apart pretty quickly, Monkey.
Yeah, that was a great response from Acme, wasn't it? It's I don't know, it was one of those strange ones where it seems like Acme just slowly make their way through the map and just win every gunfight rather than, set up crossfires to take down players. It seems like they were just taking these gunfights and, they might have been slightly favored in all of them and winning them.
Well, I guess it's one way to do it, right? Just take it right back to basics, and maybe that might be something that they're looking at doing. Of course, with having the sub in, obviously it might not make too much of an impact if Kata does know, kind of some of the strats that they want to be running. But also another way is just, sure, go for it. Let's see what we can get done with some raw fights, and in that case they win it. There was no tradable position from the defending side from August, so definitely can capitalize.
I do want to point out that Kata did his job in that one as well. That's 2 for 2 for the super sub. We just saw a sub in the previous map of Nico coming in. Absolutely, just slot in very nicely to Sinister as well, which was part of the reason why I feel like they won that series. So, maybe it's a day of substitutions.
10 seconds.
Maybe the super subs are coming in nice and strong. Obviously, that we've seen it occasionally. I mean, I don't think we've seen it too many times. I think obviously it's going to be a lot harder to play with the sub, and maybe, look, to be honest, Monkey, I think maybe sometimes it is just better to go back to basics when you do have the sub and just see what you can get done. So I believe Strider is only missing the first map. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's what I've been told as well.
Well, looks like Emo Rin's actually going to double down across in games again. So whether this is going to be to the detriment, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, if played correctly, could buy so much time if they do decide to approach from that southern side. But that's not it's not the best way to start. The smoke going down that early, mate.
Was that through the window? I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm. It's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah.
The attacker's bomb diffuser
But
has been dropped.
yeah, I do agree with you on that hold at over on the south side of the map. Derpay will find our man though. Manek Kata been sent to his grave early in this one.
Yeah, so still holding on, obviously, over in the AVG area. They're actually, I believe that's doubled down across there with Emorin and Ethan both holding. So this is what we might have missed on the last one, but Stiggs is just going to slowly put out the feelers, doesn't check the close corner. Emorin will capitalise now, being caught in a bit of a tight and tricky predicament. Actually decides to take the fight raw now, knowing that he is behind the bar, might be able to make... Oh, no, it's going to be the C4 that doesn't come out in time, but there's the quick trade coming in from Ethan.
Yeah, the rest of Acme is pushing from the master bedroom side, so they are gonna... Sorry, August are gonna be able to rotate that player back if they're aware that both players are over here. They do have the man advantage, so if things come down to just the trades, they should be winning this round.
Well, now knowing if they have actually completely cleared it out, they will 100% know that that's not too much of a concern. They obviously have that master bedroom wall well and truly open, so they could go for the direct play, trying to look for that raw contact. Actually, Hill's not going to waste any time, and that's going to well and truly be to his death. Dino, I don't think you're getting anything done in this case, my dude, but it's worth a shot at the very least. He does have 3 to find, and he is getting, well, pins it in at some sort. Maybe might find a lucky shot through, but no, they're all there. They're all waiting to capitalize, and Auglis a much more successful second round over at Statuary.
Look, if anyone could do it, could be Dino. That kid is nuts. But shut down in the end there, of course. What do you think? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think what was the difference between that round and the previous round. Like, I don't think it was much. It was just the gunfights, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was doubling down in AVG. So in the previous, they only had Emorin or Ethan, I can't remember which one it was, and they had him in games room. This time, they actually opened up a lot of positioning with the AVG being held at the same time, so at least, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, the fights go the way of Auglis that time. Emorin finds the first kill, he gets traded out, but instantly Ethan's there for that secondary kill, so they walk away with a 2-for-1 special. So I think that, you know, it's not so much Acme doing anything special as it is just kind of figuring out what you need to do for Auglis, which again might just be doubling down where you needed.
Well, it looks like Auglis don't want to go back to AVG. I believe they've gone for the dining room bomb site instead for this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, the rotation's available for them. The bomb site's available, but no, they've decided to continue moving on.
I got the wall. 10 seconds to go.
And whether we'll see kind of what we saw just then from Auglis, which is not really allowing, you know, Acme to spread their wings in terms of map control.
Locate and
You know, trying to clip the wings per se, Monkey, trying to keep them confined. It's, you know, I think that's probably a way that's definitely going to frustrate Acme.
Yeah, I think Acme are a team that if you allow them to dictate the pace, they will completely destroy you. You need to be the guys that are, you know, denying Acme the movement, not giving Acme the movement and trying to respond. You need to be taking control.
Yeah. And like you said, we're not really seeing, like, well, we haven't really seen that much of an execute strat from Acme. It has just been, you know, the raw gunfights.
Yeah, and then just run in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of not really leaving much to up to Auglis in terms of, you know, having to use that bandit trick, which maybe they thought they might have needed to in the previous two, but never really a concern there. But now, of course, they will just be able to slowly clear that top floor, and Auglis, they have their escape routes well and truly already made, so I don't really think that they're going to get caught out in this position.
Yeah, Acme have traditionally been a very puggish team, right? Like they will play a lot more off of their team synergy and natural skill rather than, you know, drill over and over and over again, or at least that's what it looks like for the most part.
So again, just slowly but surely taking control of landing and coming across into that master bedroom. They know that there's one there as well. Obviously, the information being given across. Just trying to pre-fire the line there, Kata, trying to keep them at bay for now. Stiggs is just applying a little bit of pressure, but there's going to be the opening kill. However, it's traded out immediately, and that's going to go the way. Oh my word, Auglis! They have doubled down and completely slapped Acme. They will be able to find the trade with Stiggs in nice positioning and Hills being able to take down Emo in as well. It was looking so good for Auglis, but you blink and you miss it, Monkey. It's back into a 2v2 favored.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there from Acme. I am a bit puzzled by their, by their insistence on trying to just force their way into the north side of the map from the south. Like, they have no pressure from separate angles, although they finally did at the end there, but it seems like it may be a little bit of too little too late, as they did lose, well, 3 members pretty well for free before they were traded out.
Now needing to do this one with both the Mute and the Legion, but also IQ and Thatcher. It'll be interesting to see what they can really throw at them at this point. Maybe the Acme might just continue the way that they have, with pretty much just trying to win gunfights at this point. Now they're starting to pinch on in. Stiggs will be able to find Diesel trying to pull the sidearm out, and it'll be enough attention taken away for Hills to come in from the side with a cheeky little backstab. So 2-2, Acme are still keeping on the pressure.
That was a 2v4, if I recall correctly there, Mr. Monday.
Yes.
It was, I don't know, Auglis had that in their control and then just lost 2 players for free. And in the 2v2, right, when it comes for Acme just having to run into the bomb site, which, they've had to do time and time again, they managed to find the frags there.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree more. And obviously they, it is always that question, right? Do you split up and come from 2 different areas so that you can actually, pinch in like they just did? 1, it isolates the fight, and 2, if you can't actually find the kills, then you pretty much bug it. It will just be 1v1s the entire time. Maybe even the defense gets the 2v1. However, if you do come in with the buddy system, you kind of go shoulder to shoulder in from one position, then it does very much limit the dynamic ability of being able to take separate fights and continue to put that pressure on the defensive side. So I think in that position, 100% Acme have made the right call and really put the pressure on Auglis, who, well, Monkey, they crumbled.
Yeah, I think, textbook Siege is where you are shooting your opponents in the back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you see Siege played to a level where, your opponents don't even get a chance to fight back because you're using your information gathering and your utility to give them no chance in gunfights. That's the best way to play Siege. It's, pretty well impossible to counter because you can't shoot back what you can't see, can you?
Yeah. It's very true.
So, I think that's how things ended up, wasn't it? Both kills in that final 2v2. It was Diesel shot in the side, and then Hills being able to trade out the final one, shooting him from behind. So, yeah, great stuff from Acme in that 2v2 at the end there.
Like you said, small little mistakes are being made and capitalized on, but it's not just on the side of, not just on the side of Auglis. Auglis had their own woes, and so have Acme. Acme brought it back from a 2v4. Auglis have brought it back from a 3 versus 5. So it is bouncing back and forth. A lot of this is just, like you're saying, very raw contact, very basic kind of Rainbow Six, where we're seeing a lot of it just come down to who's got the aim at that particular second. So.
Yeah, Dev does hate it when I say, that when the analysis is, they're just winning their gunfights. And he says it's lazy analysis. But sometimes it's true, right? Like, sometimes you can't say more than, well, Acme are just forcing their way in. They're droning out the positions and then taking the firefights once they know the positions, right? Like, it's... And they're winning it. Like, these guys are absolute gunners. Of course they're going to be hitting their shots.
Yeah, it's very much like a top-down, south to north, north to south sweep, right? It's not. They might be winning their gunfights, but the way they're getting into position is quite smart. They're not really allowing any flanks to come in from behind. But this time, maybe they might be met. It depends on whether they're going to continue to have that Vigil just playing down into toward Astronomy. I believe that's where he was before, Astronomy Stairs. So he might be able to come in from behind and cause some problems. But now, we're going to see a little bit more of a more structured attack, I want to say. Ooh. But not for long, Monkey.
Yeah, nicely done there from Diesel with those impact grenades, able to deny all but one of those X-Kairos pellets. And there is, of course, one more set to go on out. Yeah, only what, just 2 of them exploding to make a hole, but doesn't matter. They're on the bomb site here, Manic.
Oh god, Hayward's just pushed directly in, running and gunning. Diesel eventually does find a trade. That might be perfectly timed. It depends on whether it's actually going to stop the bomb plant. It does. So it does give Auglis a small amount of room to breathe, but that's going to be Ethan picking up 2 massive frags on a flank there. He does actually have Diesel with the information, shutting down Volt. Dino now has to bring this back 1v2. It was looking so good for Acme early on, but it's fallen to pieces. Dino to pick this one up. 1v1, not on the bomb site, is that Vigil, so he's going to have to come back through.
Yeah, and look at the HP there on Ethan. He doesn't want to stick to it, but the information through the floor is going to allow for Ethan to clean it up in the end there. What I did want to say earlier in the round, but I figured I'd wait till the end of it, is that Acme are very... I think they pace themselves as well with that very one-dimensional clear from north to south or south to north, isn't it?
Yes.
It is probably like the closest I've seen to an actual team playing like how an actual like SWAT or CTU would play and clear a building, isn't it?
No, I agree with you 100%. If you look at the way they're doing it, right, they're not just all flooding through, in that case, they're not all just flooding through master bedroom. You got one coming through master bathroom, taking slow control into water astronomy trophy, and they're slowly coming down. But as they do it, they're sweeping the entire area. But then not only that, you've actually got, the players outside of study putting the pressure onto Aviator. So the second that it looks like Auglis have, kind of got it set up, Acme just come in for that. But I must admit, toward the end there, that's just good intel gathering for the denial on that bomb plant.
I also like how Hayward was just able to make his way into the bomb site completely undetected. It was like Acme realized that there was a gap, and they were just able to take advantage of it and exploit it. And I think that's where this puggish kind of style leads them to play, or how it leads them to play.
Yeah, look, it's obviously it's going to be good to an extent, but eventually when you're up against a team, I feel like when you're up against a team like Auglis, they're going to eventually be able to clue onto what you're doing and actually just kind of slow the pace down themselves, because I feel like the defensive side can kind of determine what's going on with these roam clears. Well, not roam clears, more just the complete sweeps on that top floor. And so far, they've kind of, all but that second round, they've almost let them have, the free kind of roam clear. So,
do you think perhaps Auglis are kind of playing into Acme's hands almost?
I 100% agree with that, because it's not like we're really seeing, apart from the time where we saw 2 players into Ward Games Room and Aviator, it's not like we've really seen too much contention where Auglis have been able to win this. And when they have, I feel like they've actually overextended a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's coming down to individual battles so far, but overall, Acme look pretty damn good considering they have a sub-monkey.
Yeah, we'd have to agree with you, especially that this map, very defender-sided, not being alone in the fact that it is a defensive-sided meta. Hill's starting off onto Ethan, however. Ethan has been the top fragger for this Auglis squad so far. Oh, that's some abuse, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like Auglis just are not getting any chance to breathe here. It's just been constant attention being deployed from Acme. Oh, Neofighter, that's nicely done with the C4 kill, but coming through from behind, it's the clean kill for Kata, as now they've got complete control of that B-bomb side. And Derpe, well, you have to step up in the 1v3, and you better believe he's going to be able to do this. Nearly, if he wins that fight, I think that he's on for the 1v4, but this is going to become a little bit harder now. He will be able to deny the bomb for a small minute, but every time he does, obviously that Yokai drone will be spotted out as Derpe just slowly tries to pinch on in. It's going to be incredibly hard from here on out. I don't know. Oh my god, how's the positioning on the bomb denial here? He's actually going to get the information. He might be able to swing here and try and find that isolated fight. Still trying to bait out the shots coming through from Astronomy, but that should be done and dusted. I cannot see him winning this 1v3 with 1 HP.
Yeah, going to be very difficult, but that's one to start things off. He's got nothing to live with here, but he's still somehow doing it. The pinch is coming on in, so he has to be very careful of behind him. Oh, can he see the shoulder? Yes, he can, but oh, there's Hills to close things out. Derpe almost able to bring it back in that one, Manic.
And they're just taking it like Acme aren't taking their time at all. We saw the first bomb attempt going down. The diffuser going down literally within I think a minute 20. So
Yeah.
like Acme, the second that they find out where they are, they just slowly start to clear. And by the time we hit that 2-minute mark, Monkey, it feels like they're ready to go. And that's been the case pretty much every round. The actions unfolded by 2 minutes, which, you know, yes, it does happen, but I feel like Acme are just constantly putting Auglis under pressure here. But this is where it can kind of change a little bit and maybe favor Auglis if they decide to take this a little bit more passively.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to say that early on, Acme just had a very simple strategy, make sure they can get that first wall open. And then they saw that they had a bit of a clear path, didn't they? They were able to just push on through bathroom, through astronomy, right into the bomb site. Neofighter was pretty well done for. And, you know, just like that, it was in a 4-on-1 for Derpe. Like, it was... once a gap's been spotted, Acme just take advantage of it once again.
Well, that's the thing. You kind of blinked and there were already 2 players from Auglis off the board. Now, that was off screen, so we're not entirely sure what happened. But, you know, that kill on a Neofighter, I think that came through from either Canna or Stigs. They just legged it into trophy room. You know, like, they had control of trophy by, what, the 2-minute mark? Like, that's just... They're just completely playing like alphas right now, and I feel like that's what it is. That was just an alpha play, Monkey.
Yeah, it definitely was. But we are into their defensive half this time for Acme. Now, I really feel like their playstyle does favor their attack. So I wonder if they're going to be able to keep this one going and be able to stand up to Auglis here.
I have to agree with you on that one, Monkey, because the way that they were playing was just so offensive that on the defense, like when they now have to defend, I mean, you can already see how kind of split up they are, how isolated these 1v1s can be, and how aggressive they are as well. So I really feel that if Auglis can take this one maybe a little bit slower, I don't know whether slow is going to be necessarily the right thing to do, but if they can be a little bit methodical about this and try to isolate, find the 1v1s on the defenders or the 2v1s, take the calculated fights, this could really be quite a pressure for Acme to be under.
I think the crux here is if Auglis are aware of any potential aggressive angles that can come out from Auglis, from Acme. They got to be ready for them to get aggressive and punish them when they do.
Just for a second, a small lull in the action. And they, at the moment, looking for that clean denial. That's going to be early from Dino, so don't know whether that actually caught any of the Hibana charges.
I believe the Bandit battery was able to find some, but Diesel there will find Catter. In fact, there has been a small hole opened up because the Hibana charge was set up on a gap between the 2 panels, so only one can be electrified by the Bandit at once.
And you can slowly start to see that they're not really too happy with the progress they've made, so they're going to start to push their way in toward Master Bathroom and start to put a little bit more pressure in toward Astronomy. I don't believe there's anyone facing automatically, but Dino's going to be able to take down Emo Rin. I believe that was across in Master Bedroom, so they're losing a lot of presence as they slowly start to go in. I think that they're actually just going to try to play off the back of Neofighter here. They've got Diesel that's helping from that window, and oh my word, Neo nearly playing with his death there.
Yeah, it seems like they've cut themselves off from their own bomb site here, Acme, as it's just Stiggs and Hayward to try and recover here.
Definitely not favoured on those aggressive fights across towards Master. Wait and see whether they're actually able to do this in a 2 versus 4. This would be a monstrous kind of misstep if Auglis can't connect with this, but fair enough, that's alright, smoke directly on him. They will be going for the plant, however.
Seconds remaining.
Yeah, and there's the peek from Derpe. Ethan to close it out with the knife as well. Auglis, a great round from them. As you said, they did slow it down. They did what they had to do. And then when they found, it was pretty similar. When they found the opening, they just went for the push, and no one from Acme was watching it.
No, and I really do think that the way that Acme play or have played at this on this map at least are definitely favouring that attacking side. So Mungie, are 3 rounds going to be enough for them to actually work on this defensive side, unless they can somehow double down with this?
Well, trophy is, of course, like traditionally easier. Sorry, trophy. Defense is traditionally a bit easier for a team, right? But the play style that we see from Acme, as I said, not so much favored. Let's take a look at the scores here. Look at the assists on Emo Rin there.
Yeah, just doing God's work to set up the rest of the team. But, you know, that's the thing. No one, I mean, you look across the board and no one's really lacking in that department at all. Everyone's had an impact. There's not really been a point in time where, you know, for an entire round where we've kind of just said that that's been a useless play from one of the teams. It feels like that it's constantly been contested in every round by every player, which, I don't know, sometimes I feel like we do have a player missing or two, but not the case in this one, Monkey.
Yeah, definitely everyone's stepping up all together. Which is definitely what we want to see, right? Like, it is a team game. We want to see them succeeding as a team, not springboarding off that one player.
So again, they're just going to hold a... I feel like it's just a very loose kind of area that they're holding across toward that AVG area. Stiggs, we saw him there previously. He quickly backed out, however, the second there was a small bit of pressure in toward Master Bedroom. They didn't really look like they were happy to stick around, and I feel like August haven't really put pressure on that south side of the map, so maybe it's going to be similar. They are going to be going for a very quick clear of that bottom floor and also the top floor, but making short use of the Habana Chargers, already opening up that deep line through bathroom.
Yeah, going to make sure that they can hold those angles. Now, I really think that Acme really need to have someone playing in astronomy, at least behind that desk, to just deny that push that we saw last time.
Yeah. Yeah, the second that August took control of astronomy, Acme just were forced to back away or fight, and I believe they went for the fight, which is partially most of the reason why they couldn't continue to try and hold that down. So, Hills, oh my god, Hills, you are so lucky to be alive there. Oh, wow.
Yeah, more fire coming on through. Surely it's going to allow for more of those Habana charges to go off. Hills, don't your legs feel pretty exposed right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Look at his HP, though. He's pretty well dead.
Yeah. And maybe that's what he's playing for.
He is dead.
Well and truly dead at this point. So here we go again. Here's Neophyter starting to make his way in. He's already got the support from Derpe out on the windows, so they can just slowly but surely take the clear here. And they're going to go ahead and drone completely through astronomy, so they know that it's well and truly clear. This is looking very similar. However, Acme just haven't dropped those early players like we saw them do before. Obviously, the Bandit's out, but that wall is well and truly open for the line of sight. That's Emo Rin taking down Kata. This is not looking good at all, Monkey.
Yeah, as soon as they lose control of astronomy, I think it might be all over Red Rover. Stiggs will pop up with a double, however, putting us into the 2-on-3, but they do not have control of the bomb site.
Where's this Pulse playing? Slowly at the back of stairs, just... Maybe this might be the play. If Derpe comes in, it will bring it back into a 2-on-2. However, they are already on that diffuser being planted, and Haywood, does he go directly into the line of Derpe here? He's got to cross him eventually. Absolutely legs it with the running boots on, but Derpe, very nicely done to adjust. Stiggs, you have to ace 1v3 clutch this. I cannot see this happening.
Yeah, unlikely to happen, and it doesn't either. Once again, it's pretty much a cookie cutter round there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Manic. Exact same as how the previous round went, just a small minor deviations. Well,
they are going to eventually lick their wounds and go toward AVG. I do say it so much, which is, you know, the fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Well, actually, no, sorry. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What is it when they get into that fool me a third time kind of area? Is it just stubborn? Is that what it is? Is it stubbornness?
Let's not even put that out as a possibility, and let's go to AVG instead.
I feel like that's the right call to make. They need something to change it up here, because it just feels, I don't know about you, Monkey, but the hold just feels a little bit stale. You know, There was no control in astronomy at all that entire time.
Well, there was, I think it was, I want to say the Legion was maybe playing there, but he was forced out. But yeah, astronomy is kind of like that pivot point for those two bomb sites, isn't it? Like as soon as your opponents are in astronomy, you're pretty well boned. Like there's not much you can do.
And you can see that like Derpe was just sitting on the window of astronomy. So like the rotates, you either have to go all the way through landing and try and take that fight, which I'm sure that they're going to be ready for. And it's just like you're saying, the second you get control of astronomy, it cuts off so much of the decision making that you have left. But now this time we will be able to see the AVG being held. Whether or not they're going to be able to successfully do this or not, I'm not really sure. Maybe we really need to see Acme take the fight to August instead of trying to, kind of turtle on those sites, which it looks like they were being forced to do. Maybe it is about raw fights at this point, Monkey.
Yo, the fact that the Nomads up on the board is really hindering their ability to get aggressive, right? Like we could see Dino really wanted to run into that master bedroom, but we could hear that air jab beeping just outside his door, and he knew if he did, he'd just end up on the ground and then, well, probably dead right after that.
Yeah. So impactful as well. So waiting to see how we actually have August sweeping this one out, which it looks like they are going to be making somewhat of an approach from both the study and the master bedroom. If their positions do serve correct, they will be making sure that all of those cheeky little roams are well and truly clear.
Ping's gonna come on out, but Derpe can't land that all-important headshot. Does take him rather low for his troubles, however.
A bomb has been located.
Just, taking control from that north side. Pretty similar, isn't it, here, Manic?
Yep. It's just a very slow, methodical approach. Acme, by this point here, they were already in that vault putting pressure on with Hayward going aggressive. So two completely different play styles that are kind of showing you full well what you can really do, what you can really change up. So already with a lot of control around that L hallway, it is going to be opened up in toward... Looks like Dino who's trying to hold at this point. This could get very hot and heavy very quickly.
There we go, opened on up, and that's a very similar pivot point to how astronomy is. It is as well. It attaches to both of those sites, and anyone that's trying to stay in the vault to help with that, holding both sites, is going to be in a pretty sticky situation.
Well, that's going to be an early use of the Yokai drone, but there we go. Trades going back and forth at this point in time. They're going to go ahead and push with Kata going through the pre-open hole from Habana. This is looking very dangerous right now as August are trying to make their way toward the side. I don't know how much progression they've really got. Derpe's going to come back through to try and put the pressure into toward Volt, but in the meantime, he does flush Kata directly into the position in Neofighter as Diesel making short use of those Habana charges, completely opening up right through Study. And now Aviator is under complete control of August in a 2 versus 3.
Oh, but that's a great shot there from Stiggs, but this diffuser looks like it will be confirmed planted. They're both going to be coming from opposite angles, but I don't think this is going to be likely for them to clutch this out here, Manic.
No, it's going to be a very tough ask, so Hill's just making some sound cues to try and bait out the remainder of August, which might have pulled a little bit of tension away had that extra player not have died. Oh, has he just spotted the feet? Surely Stiggs, he's going to go aggressive right now, trying to force the isolated fights, but Diesel, he's just waiting for that initial member to come on through. Easy peasy, done deal for August as they pick up a third consecutive round.
He has ninja feet, doesn't he, Manic?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I can't believe that, he didn't die in that position. Did he saw his feet, right?
Yeah, but, it probably just blended in all honesty. Like, in a high-pressure situation like that, when you're trying to peak every angle and, it's on a 2-on-2, you're pretty low HP. But what I will say is, August, they've been dividing and conquering this map, haven't they?
Yeah.
They'll segment off something, take control, segment off something, take control. And it's not one-dimensional either. They're doing it from so many angles, and they're just forcing Acme back into a corner.
Yeah. And the second they do that, they capitalize. And I guess that's something that you can kind of look at Acme and say,
Defenders,
yeah,
protect your
in a sense they were doing that, but it felt like that's the way the August were playing already. You know, like it wasn't... August were already playing pretty defensive on the site. You could see before there were 2 or 3 players in Vault for August when we were in AVG for them on the defensive side, and this time it's kind of like a frantic mess in some sorts for Acme. Diesel on top with 11 kills right now. Popping.
Yeah. Diesel, you know, he plays those support roles as well, so he's going to be pretty happy with that. I know when he first started playing in the Pro League last season, right? Like I was pretty critical of him. I was like, he's not putting up the numbers. I don't think he's good enough to be playing in the Pro League, and that was when he was on a different team. But ever since joining August, I think he's really proved me wrong here.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Let's, you know, that I feel like that's the joy for us as, oh no, Dino, going for that early peach, obviously not working out this time, but I feel, I'm going to go back to my previous statement. I feel that it is a quite rewarding when you can say something like that as a commentator, saying, you know, it's not really, I don't think he's, you know, up to the task, and then they just go and prove it, right? That's the best way to do it. It's the best way to shut anyone up, is just to prove it.
Yeah, like, you know, he's not only is he talking the talk, but walking the walk, and that's so much more important.
Like you said, this is a very similar approach that we saw from August in that previous, you know, ensuring that there's a lot of pressure being placed on that north side, you know, coming from Astronomy Master Bedroom, slowly clearing out, droning as they go, pushing the defensive side further and further behind, as, you know, it's not going to favor a 2 versus 1, but this time it is, again, Emo Rin just ensuring that there's so little utility as they make their way through.
Yeah, trying to hinder and hamper them as much as he can with the cassette threat on his wrist. Now, see, Acme just getting slowly forced back, aren't they? And then just into a corner, and then it's, you know, Augustus to win from there.
Well, it's been very convincing all 3 rounds from August. I believe with at least 2 players left alive in every single round. So, again, very, very similar from what we saw before. This is almost identical to the way that August approached it, and they're under a bit of stress right now, poor Acme.
It's very mechanical, isn't it? It's
Bomb
Yes.
located by attackers.
it's like drilled to the wire from these guys, and it's so great to see.
I guess for Acme, the small kind of moment that they've got here. Oh no. Oh, Kata, that's not it. Ethan just completely capitalizes on the back of that one. But at this point, they don't have control of Study, so they can't pinch in from both sides like they did in the previous Dino. That'll mean that he's got no pressure on his backside, takes the easy fight on toward Ethan. As now, slowly but surely, August will start to put the pressure back through, but Hills with the hard read, dropping the diffuser as well. That's the adaptation that we needed to see coming through, and it has worked, an absolute wonder.
You know, all up to Emo Rin now. He's got 20 seconds to play with, but no more HP. Steaks to close it out in the end there, and you know, it looked like it was going to be another cookie cutter there, but Acme managed to stabilize off that big double from the balcony.
Yeah, I really like. From my opinion, I really think that was the difference. That was the difference maker right there. Was not even that Hills got those 2 kills, but that he kept control of Study. So the second that they try to open up into Aviator like they had before, you know, that was the exact same approach that August took. Make your way toward, you know, classic hallway and open up Vault, and then come back around, go to Study, open up the 2 sections, and just have that complete line of sight through towards Vault, and also Aviator, completely kind of nullifying those rotates. Hills just makes the small little adaptation that completely destroys the thought of using those charges. And to be honest, the double kill, that's just extra salt in the wounds.
Also, Acme seemed to delay more time there as well. Like, I think it was like 25 seconds, and they were trying to make their way into Study.
Yeah. They definitely didn't lose that player early on like we saw them in the previous, because I believe they actually... one of their players, I can't remember who it was, maybe it was the Bandit, fell very early on in that previous engagement, you know, around the minute 30 mark, and that just completely opened things up. But this time, we head back to AVG, which, Statuary, which we haven't seen have any success for the defensive side on Acme.
Well, what adaptations are they making? So they're bringing the pulse this time. I don't think previously they have been bringing the
10
pulse at
seconds
all.
to go.
I think they had the pulse in the second round, their defensive
5 seconds
side.
left.
It was originally the Echo, and I think they brought it in on the second.
Attackers
Um,
will
Yeah.
locate and defuse
but-
the bomb.
It just feels like the way that August have been able to approach this kind of have nullified whatever Acme have done on this site.
I think one of the things that I should probably highlight is in the previous two rounds here is that they were throwing out the C4s nice and early on Acme, but August had no need to run on inside just yet. They were waiting for that kind of response, weren't they?
Just waiting for the aggression. So
Yeah.
again, though, whether they will choose to approach it in the same kind of fashion, not entirely sure. They are taking a lot of control, obviously, outside of the master roof. What are we having a giggle at?
Emo Rin just snaking under the windows so no one can see him.
He's,
I don't know, it's
sneaky little
smart,
snake.
but it just makes me giggle.
Just slowly watching someone ensure that they don't get caught out by crawling. Why not? Why not? Show
Surely
the
you can
love.
zoom past, just sprint.
Just a zoomy boy. Well, I now know if they didn't before, Aussie is obviously ensuring that they don't get the information in toward astronomy, which I believe was, quite a large portion as to how they weren't able to hold in the previous, but where are those charges coming off? So now they've got a line of sight straight on through that rotate. That is going to make life a lot more difficult.
Yeah, now there is that pulse down below they have to contest with, and it looks like he's got a C4 in hand. In fact, I think it might be the Bandit with the pulse in concert. But there goes the first C4, and there was no nothing happening with it.
No, maybe some miscommunicated. That's nicely held from Neo Fighter as Dino. Feel like that was the peak that we've seen come through from Dino or Hill. I can't remember who it was. We've seen that peak in towards bedroom already, and in the previous there was actually a successful kill. So not going to be making that same mistake twice as Dirtbait. They're just slowly but surely taking these players down with little to no effort. They feel like there's no contention yet, but Sticks, there we go. That's what we needed. But again, it's all about the trades. 2v4.
Oh!
Hello.
All right. Headshot through the floor as the plant's going to be started in the smoke. Hills and Hayward with a lot to do here. Oh.
Attackers activated.
Maybe not as much as what we previously expected, but oh wow. Haywood, what have you got for us? Do you have a moment of magic in a 1 versus 2 to save this and push it one more round? Of course, on the brink of August taking the first map, Haywood has to step up massive here, trying to bait out the initial kind of peak, but he does get dropped eventually, still managing to find the isolated fight in toward bedroom, and he's actually been given an opportunity here, but I'm sure the positioning... Oh, hang on a second! Has he been able to stick this? Does he get the positioning in time?
Ooh.
Yes. Dirtbait, I thought maybe he might have been just a little bit too far out of position, but August take map number 1 in the 11th round.
That first fight in that 1v2 was I don't know. I hate to call potato, but that was potato from both parties, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was messy. It was a fight where they had to go for the pistols in the end.
Yeah, that's... I guess, there's a lot of pressure on that, right? There's a lot of pressure on both players there. Not so much on the August member as it was on the attacking side. But hey, Haywood gives it a good shot. Nearly makes it work, Monkey. But I must admit, that was a very dominant first map coming through from August.
Yeah, and that last round also, it was fairly dominant. It was a 2-on-4, I believe, in the end, until they almost managed to throw it away. But I must say, Acme playing with a sub, pretty impressive, about as I expected from them, I suppose. They are, of course, not as good of a team as August, but to still make it fairly competitive, 7-4. It's a decent scoreline.
Now the question is, do we see Kata get swapped out for Strider so we see the full team? Is that what we're hoping for here?
Yeah. If they do swap out Kata, I'm thinking that they should have obviously that much more synergy, which a team like Acme do rely on.
Yep.
But the thing is, we are going to August's map pick, which is going to be pretty
yes.
troubling.
Yeah, we head to Coastline, and if I'm not mistaken, this has been August's map pick for every single first pick that they've had of 6 Masters, meaning This is their map.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, we have seen, I believe we might have seen Acme play it maybe once. This is definitely August through and through here. So, you know, we go to familiar territory in a comfortable position for August. They're already the map up. I just want to come out and flat out say that the statement, I don't think we're going to be able to see Acme realistically do too much on this map.
Thing is, you know, Coastline has also been a map that we saw Acme pick up a lot during the Challenger League. Like, I think, you know, their most played maps were Villa and Coastline. So I think they can look forward to that. But once again, I think when it comes to the crux of the matter, August are just a much better team. And
yeah, and that's it. It's
you can't be too upset about that from Acme's perspective either.
No, it's kind of, I guess, look, at the end of the day, Acme, not, you know, don't quote me on this just yet, but I believe that they've already made it through toward the top 4, meaning that they go to land, correct?
Yes, yeah, there's no possible way for any teams to catch him and overtake him.
So I think for Acme, this is just a really good chance to try some things out, right? And unfortunately, they have to have Kata instead of Strider, but at the end of the day, this match in particular, it's just a testing ground for Acme. What can they do? What can they poke and prod August with? In that map, the attacking side looked pretty good from Acme, right? It was a lot of aggression, very early, kind of quick rounds that they were just getting into, already putting the pressure back in. August, I think it's just business as usual. I hate that quote because I do say it so often, but it is just business as usual, Monkey.
Yeah, you know, they are currently top of the Pro League thanks to Fnatic struggling this week.
Yeah.
So, you know, that they are just going to rock up and play their own game. Like, business as usual, I think, really does sum it up.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you have a look at the results that they've kind of pulled through. I think there's been one close map in Pro League that I checked, which was maybe against Sinister or someone like that. It was like 7-5, but everything else has just been August in complete control. And I think if you realistically ask anyone at this point, you know, they are, like you're saying, you know, they're on top of the Pro League, right? And regardless of whether Fnatic are making that slip or not, even if Fnatic do win that map last night or whenever it was the night before, they're still equal points with Fnatic at that point. So, you know, we're literally seeing two Titans just head to head, just constantly, you know, kind of seesawing in terms of points.
Yeah.
But undoubtedly, August, one of the top 2 teams in the region.
And what's even more impressive about it is that they have done it without all that support that Fnatic are getting, for example, right? Like, they may not have the international results like Fnatic do, but domestically, they are beasts, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they are the hyper beast in the domestic scene, but they are, right? Because they're just, and most times there's no doubt that they are just going to crush pretty much any team that they do come up against. But regardless of whether they will or won't crush, we are now getting in from the first map, Villa, in toward Coastline. You were saying that Acme still feel pretty comfortable on this map, but this is August's map pick, and just saying that kind of gives me little to no hope at this point.
Yeah, it's been a map that they've had in their repertoire for ages. Acme are starting on defense here, and I think out of what's kind of worrying, out of the 5 rounds we had that Acme played on defense there, they only managed to pick up the 1 on Villa in a defensive sided meta. Like, that is pretty worrying.
It'll definitely leave a small hindrance in my mind as we do head on to this wonderful coastline.
Look, I said Acme are having really a lot of trouble dealing with that Nomad, and what's their first ban?
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't see that as a bad pick at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. If it nullifies August being able to use that, I believe it was Derpe that was picking Nomad up pretty much every time, then go for it, man. You know, take that off the board, give yourself a better chance. Abana's going to be the second attacking operator banned out, Echo and Maestro to follow. So, bit of intel gathering, a bit of anchorage on site taken out. Nothing that we really don't expect to see there, Monkey.
Well, the thing is, Echo and Maestro both play very similar roles in the fact that they're set up to gather that information and both have plant denial abilities. So both of them off the board isn't something we see too much these days. It's either one or the other, a lot plus Mira. or
Yep.
whatever other defensive operator people want banned out. But in the end, whatever, I suppose.
Well, that's it. It's kind of just whatever you favor. It's, the good old saying, potato, potato. It's much of a muchness. So
Maestro Echo both sound similar if you can make it work.
we will be seeing the IQ being brought in for the Thatcher. But apart from that, no 6 pick on the side for the defense.
Attackers need to locate and
So,
defuse bombs.
Sunrise, Blue Bar, what are we feeling?
Yeah, it is a spot that a lot of ANZ teams do not start off, but internationally we see as the #1 favoured bomb site to start off, or at least it's getting up there.
Yep.
Bars is a bomb site that we see not picked up too often in ANZ, like not even just to start off with, but at all. Sometimes teams just do not want to go here. And I think that's more of because a bomb site like this really relies on being able to play together as a team well.
Yeah. What, you're saying that we don't play together as a team well in ANZ?
To go.
I think that, if a bomb site will rely on that, teams will try and shy away from it because it's a hard one to win individually, and I think still in ANZ some teams do rely more on individual plays than what they should.
That's fair enough. Just an observation, obviously. And we will wait and see whether Acme have what it takes to kind of hold down the opening of bars, but no, that's a lot of roam clear from August being brought in early. I don't think we've really touched on that one yet.
So yeah, well, they do have the lion, which is always a scary prospect, plus the jackal.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite a lot made it through, but I think we've got our community vote in, by the way, Manic.
Yeah.
16% for Acme, 84% for August.
Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I do think that that's an accurate representation. Maybe some more toward Acme, just for the fact that they are still, some top gunners at the end of the day. But yeah, that's a very tough ask.
Oh, I think Hills was spotted out on this staircase, and I don't think he realized where the drone was. All right, he's seen it now, so he's going to move before anyone can capitalize off of that. But early information coming out, and it doesn't really look like Acme want to contest this top floor at all.
No. They've got Hayward, who it looked like he was starting to come in from Penthouse. Whether he's still doing that or not, not entirely sure. Obviously, they aren't really across there whatsoever, and that's going to be the first scan. Legion now on Hills needs to back away. There you go. You can still see Hayward just slithering around like a sneaky little snaky snake up in VIP. And I'm sure that'll put quite a lot of pressure on us. Stings gets aggressive, tries to hit the close shotgun. Doesn't actually manage to connect on that one, but Ethan now needs to be a little bit more cautious with that approach.
Yeah, Kata to find Emorin as well. That was up through the floor as the holes are getting made. He might find another, but no, can't quite find the angle. Hear that second line charge go on out, the E1D, seeing what it can see, but no one from Acme moving and revealing.
Not yet, anyway. Diesel looking to approach. Obviously does have a straight bomb plan in behind B if he wants to go for it. However, it will surely be held by some sort of bomb denial at the very least. You still do have a fair bit of presence just outside of Sunrise, so looks like he might just be going for some early intel. He's going to get directly up on top and go for that plant. They're not going to be able to deny it either, as that's just complete and utter dominance. Oh, hello, Hills. Okay, bomb doesn't get... Realistically, the diffuser doesn't get denied, but Hills, this is just too much to ask for at this point.
Yeah, 1-on-3 with about 20 HP to his name. They know exactly where he is now that he's been detected. I think this might be around over here, Manic.
I really can't see it.
Yeah, I don't want to hype it up, but I also kind of do, because what if he does and I didn't hype it up? Like, but yeah, it should be closed out, right? Oh, what a shot!
Never mind.
What a shot, bro! Like
Yeah,
that was nuts.
Just on that quick pre-fire aim. Just ready, set, go straight away. However, not expecting Diesel in a prone position. Just outside of the Sunrise window. Now, do we see them go back? No, we're going to see directly going upstairs. And quite literally directly upstairs into what Hooker and Billiards. The neighbor.
The upstairs neighbor. The old bang on the floor, keep it down there.
It really is. I feel like
Well,
there'd be a fair bit of noise in this area.
Thing is, in that round, we did see Acme pick up the first kill, didn't we? It was Kata onto, I think it was Emo.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then we just saw Neofighter go absolutely nuts as the execute came on in, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think I was reading a stat, like something like in pro play, the first kill, if you get it, you've got like 74% chance of converting that round. Like, it's pretty high.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think there's been quite a few times today where we've seen Acme find that first frag, but not able to close the round out.
Yeah, and I do think that does come down to partially not being, a full team. It's obviously always going to be a little bit of a pain in the backside when you do have to play with the extra sub. So it does kind of eliminate the chemistry that you would generally take into a map.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like, especially when you're up against August as well,
To locate a bomb and
it is much harder to try and to win that one out. But yeah, we'll wait and see, I guess. A cheeky little peek. Why not, Hayward? Try. Oh, get destroyed!
That's what happens, isn't it?
What's the saying, monkey? Play with fire?
You get burnt.
Yep. Oh, that's not exactly what we were hoping for, was it?
Well, and then perfect, like, pinch onto Hills as well. He was completely forced back by that Jackal. Nowhere to go. Nemo Rin just has to hold the angle and press click when he walks into it.
And this is the adaptation that we might have seen from Acme, which is trying to put pressure outside of the site and not directly hold just on the stairs, and automatically just punished. Just completely smacked. They're getting pinched every which way they look, quite literally. Yeah. Like, there's just nowhere they're going that they're free right now.
Yeah, this has been great to see from August, hasn't it? The coordination and, there's been really no chance for any of those Acme members to escape from those firefights alive.
And I guess, even doubling down on what we were saying before about playing with fire and getting burnt, you're playing against a lion and a jackal, which main priority is to clear roams, and you've got 3 players roaming. It's just, yeah, I don't know, man. You're not really going to have too much luck there.
Yeah, so they decided to ban out the Nomad because it was really curbing their aggression, and now they're being aggressive in the other utility, and the teamwork is what is completely shutting them down.
There's that E1D coming out, but Dino sticks to his guns and actually clears the first player coming up on stairs. Kata in a 1 versus 4 to try and clutch this out and give them an opportunity, but you could just hear it in my voice. Not even close to doable at that point. Derpe just out on top of the windows being an absolute nuisance. I feel like this is just what Derpe does, right? Derpe's just like constantly out the windows, just being an annoyance the entire time. We saw it on Villa, and it's continuing here as well.
Yeah, like, rappelling on windows isn't easy, right? Like, there is an art, a finesse to it of making sure you get the right angles to get the kills, etc., etc. It is playing the perspective game, and you really need to think about it. And Derpe, of course, very skilled at it and has been able to find quite a few frags from it.
So more and more I'm feeling that community poll is more and more right. It's just ringing true at this point. Hayward going to be swapping out the bandit for the mute. Fair enough. Back into a reattempt at hookah. Why not? Give it a shot. See what you can get done. At this point, I don't really know what Acme has to lose. They're playing with a sub. They're playing on Augus's probably preferred map pick at the end of the day. Just do what you can.
Also, they're changing around their operators quite a bit, right? Like, Dino was on... Hayward was on the Vigil last time. Now Dino's on it. I believe Dino was on the mute. So they've swapped that over. I wonder if that's going to change things up a bit.
Hopefully. Maybe. I just want to say that I hope it does. The question for me right now is, are we going to see the heavy kind of presence we saw off-site? doesn't look like they're really that keen in doing it. Obviously, they might keep pressure just on the exteriors, but we're not really seeing that kind of dominant play across toward VIP, and even on the first floor that we saw in that last round.
Well, that's a Valkyrie camera that we saw last round as well that's gathering a bit of information now. I think the thing is, right, like Acme do rely on being aggressive and doing run-outs and spawn peeking and such, but every time they've tried it hasn't worked out for them. Neo fighting through the floor! Goes down. Jesus. We just heard our producer in our ear. Even he was not impressed by that one.
That got me so hard. I was so worried that was going to come through. Oh, Carter, man. Oh.
That's what happens when you're on the Valkyrie or whatever and you're on your cameras and a cheeky IQ comes across. Like...
I just feel like the problem is, though, the attacking side have brought in IQ every round, it feels.
Yeah.
First, it just...
IQ is quite powerful. Funnily enough, it's not an operator we see banned too often.
No. I think that in many ways, Neo was a little bit lucky toward the end there with that kind of final bullet connecting.
Yeah.
Look at that angle from Hills just in behind the couch. But again, it's just the explosive trades that we're seeing, and it's still not favoring this defensive side whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like either August get a pick or they're immediately traded afterwards. And, in 50-50 scenario, you are going to come out on top in the end. There is Emo in. That's one for the highlight reel. Picks up 2. Leaving it all up to Hills. He's getting jackaled as well, man. There's not much he can do in this situation.
I think at this point, you've just got to have a small little giggle, I guess. Just hope for the best, take some pre-aimed shots, but at the end of the day, is that Derpe out on the window again? My man, he is relentless on the rappel, I must admit.
Well... At what point do we put the mercy rule into action here, Manic?
Yeah, there's got to be like a concede button. There has to be. Like, Acme are just having all sorts right now, and we knew that this was going to be the case coming into map number 2, though, especially on Augus's map pick.
Well, at this rate, we're going to have an early finish, aren't we?
We're going to have a very early finish. I'm going to be playing Showdown for the rest of the night. I've just figured it out. Kick the feet back on the desk and just relax.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Well, I'm glad you get to relax. I have work later tonight, so...
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. I know.
Yeah. No, it's life. It's life.
It's one of those things. It's just one of those things, Monkey. We've got to get through it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to give you the advice of the cat holding onto the tree trunk at the moment. Just hang in. Just hang in. You're doing good, Monkey. You're doing good.
All right, so taking a look at these scores here. After 3 rounds, Hills has gotten, 1 kill per round, whereas the rest of his team have only got 1, with Stiggs on none so far. So, obviously, you're not getting kills if you're not putting up rounds, but you'd expect them to have a few more kills, right?
Yeah. You really would. You really would hope so at that point. I guess maybe they're just going to have to go for, like you were saying, Monkey, individual plays. They're just going to have to rely on that. And I think that's what they've just gone back to. You can see how heavy their roam game is up on top of that second floor. I think maybe that they're just going to have to stick to that.
Ooh. Ethan's thanking his lucky stars. He should be dead from that, but a few whiffed shots here and there, and he's walking away with only 1/3 of his HP gone.
Yeah, very fortunate. And that would have been, one of the main players of the board in the early game anyway, in the early round, because he's had quite a large impact on that Jackal, obviously consistently flushing players out. But look how much information Derpe's just got. He can see the footsteps coming in from underneath the couch, and that is... It's just getting even worse at this point for Acme.
Well, it's not over just yet, Manic. I might just start believing Sneer Fighter's gonna find heals, but that's a great shot from Stiggs as he finds his first, but he's immediately traded back by Ethan. It's over. I think Emo Rin finds Hayward.
Just keep chugging along. You got this, Acme. Get one round on the board here, I believe. I believe you can. There we go. Oh! Big plays from Dino, dropping 2 members as they push directly, maybe getting a little bit overzealous into his angle. And here is the opportunity we were hoping for, Monkey.
Yeah, that's what Acme need to do. Just say 1 round at a time. We'll get 1 round, and then it's just one more until you've reached that magical number of 7.
Just keep chugging along, and just don't even worry about the round count at that point. Just keep chugging. It's as easy peasy as that right now. Well, Dino, who's still up on the 2nd floor, now starting to come in. Cat is now going to be caught out. Can he get anything done? You better believe he cannot. And Dino, I mean, this would be a big ask, but I still believe as he comes around the corner in towards Sunrise, he might be able to find it, but no, he's been held down with suppressive fire. This would be pretty fortunate if he... Oh, God. Oh, God, Diesel.
Unfortunate timing. Catching him as he's ripping that C4. Boom, headshot.
Monkey, what's your hot take? What's your hot fire analysis?
Hot fire analysis. I think at this point, Acme are just getting bullied.
Yeah.
So I think their only choice right now is to call for some divine intervention.
I had like a small glimmer of hope there with Dino picking up the 2K, and I got a little bit excited. But yeah, the second that happens, August just completely doubled down across in toward the pool entrance with Capitao pushing in, and you know, it's just looking pretty clean, I've got to admit. August, even when they start to get a little bit frazzled with a couple of kills going here or there, they're like, okay, you know, enough taking individual fights, enough peeking into them, let's just go and win the round.
That was the closest round so far, wasn't it?
Yes, by far. I think the first round was like a 1v3, second round was like a 1v3. It's just...
Yeah. It seems like they've decided to change bomb sites again, however, Acme, back going to kitchen. Say it was their tertiary choice, but this time they're going to try and bring it out.
Do you think they maybe would have had more chances of getting rounds on the board if they went on their attacking side, or do you honestly think that August would be doing this on the defensive side regardless?
I think August, you know, it being Coastline, one of their better maps, probably just doing this regardless, right? Like,
yeah. No, I feel
and you know, it's only compounded by the fact that Acme are playing with a sub.
Yep. Only makes it worse. And you know, this was what I was really hoping to be. You know, like the battle of the top of the table, and you know, trying to sell that as much as we can. But when you're playing with a sub, it doesn't really make a difference. It completely hinders your chemistry, and not only your chemistry, but just the overall look at the team. It's always going to be a lot harder. And like you said, Kata hasn't really played in a professional team since 2017. You think?
Yeah, about then. And even then, to call it professional is a bit of a thing. Like, this is when we only had like the Cyber Gamer ladder going. Like,
so
you know,
semi-pro.
Yeah.
When he played competitively, there we go.
Yeah. Like, he was on a team with Rizraz back in those days. From Fnatic. It's going a bit back into history, of course.
We're getting our history lessons with Monkey Fist. Maybe that can be a segment that we do, Monkey.
Yeah, we can just talk about the different players and their histories.
History with Monkey. Professor Monkey Fist. I like that. Well, that's just going to continue to make life hard. That's the dock gone. So a lot of the firepower. See you later.
Oh, and the run out by Stiggs is also going to be shut down. Looks like this peak might be successful.
Oh my god.
Take your time, Hayward. There we go. And Kata also to find ones. This is a 3-on-3. Things have just gotten interesting here, Manic.
Yeah, possibly the opportunity that they're looking for. I really just want to see one round on the board for Acme, but again, like, you just look at how how vigorous Auglis are as they approach the site. And as I say that, Dino just completely runs out to find the kill on a Diesel. He has been able to down him in the meantime. Neofighter should be able to capitalize on that one. As Derpe, once again, I would dare say, is going to come in quite clutch. He's already in kitchen, man.
Yeah, he's deep in sight, isn't he?
Recovered the bomb diffuser.
Guess that can also be a problem, but this is, I just can't really see a world in which they're able to pull this out because they're just being so damn bullying. Auglis not giving a second's rest, and Hayward, eat your heart out. What can you get done in this situation?
Activating diffuser.
Plant's gone down, so it's going to have to be the 1-on-2 retake here, Manic. You know, I'm going to believe in him. I think he's got this one. You know, even though he's walking into a crossfire, even though Derpe's prone on the ground, he can do this. He cannot. So...
just the small, it's the glimmer of belief that's all that's needed there, Monkey. He appreciates your belief in him, and unfortunately can't reciprocate it because he's dead without a head in a bed.
This is men against the boys, isn't it? It's
yes, it is night and day difference at this point. You know, that's 2 rounds in a row Auglis have been brought back to the 2 versus 2. And that time it was a 2 versus 3, but even then, even when Acme had the advantage, Derpe's all the way into kitchen with complete control. Like, at every which turn, Acme either, you know, they take a small little glimmer of hope, and you've just got, you know, Auglis pickpocketing from behind.
It's like Acme will shove first, but then Auglis will shove back 10 times harder, won't they? It's
yeah. It's, do you want to? I don't know if you have a big brother, but it's just the big brother fight. You know, like I have a brother that's like 7 years older than me, and when we were kids, I'd get angry at him and I'd like push him, and he'd just push me but I'd go into the wall. You know, like it's not even fair. And that honestly is what it feels like right now, is the big brother little brother fight. And
look, I do have a big brother, and like we'd be hanging out with his mates, and like. We'd play karate in the backyard, and let me tell you, I was the punching bag.
You get your ass handed to you, didn't you? It's okay.
Yeah.
We've all been there, and I feel like they're just going through the motions. Like, you know, they're going to walk inside, and Mum's going to see all the bruises up and down their arm, but, like, the damage is already done, Monkey. The damage is done.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, but you know, if Acme can come back from here, it'll be a story of fury proportions, wouldn't it?
It would be the story of a lifetime for me right now. You know, everything is against Acme's favor. I almost think that, like, at this point, Elvis Presley, you know, being found alive is probably more likely than the comeback.
Well, Fury were 5-1 down against Fnatic, are playing with their own sub and managed to pull it back for a W.
Well, I guess it is only 5-0, so you know, I'm jumping the gun here, Monkey. I'm jumping the gun.
Look, let them get one round, and then we can decide how this is going to go.
God, I just love that quick set play, but geez Louise, Dino very quickly taking down Emarin. I feel like Emarin hasn't had the biggest impact so far for Auglis, so he's kind of just been like the point of contact, looking like, you know, trying to find that opening pick more often than not, so why not? Take him down nice and early.
Well, Kata has taken some damage, and there's some outside aggression from Hayward, but no one really exposing themselves to him at all. So it seems like finally Acme have done something to slow Auglis down.
And I also think it's because they haven't got too overzealous. Okay. Thanks for that one, Dino. Too overzealous, as I was about to say, but that's nice positioning from Hayward, and actually manages to get away as well without anyone being able to punish. Too little too late. That E1D is not going to really do anything at that point, but Dirtbait's just gone completely into the... no, that's not the site. That is definitely down in Blue Bar. I do apologize.
Yeah, well, suddenly it's a 2-on-4 here, Manic.
Yep.
Ethan and Derpe.
Both the roam clears. I believe.
Yeah, all right. I think we might have a 5-1 half on our hands, and then we can start that Fury story going, I reckon.
Well, still with 40 seconds left, they do have the diffuser in hand, and trying to find some lucky shots from Ethan there. Don't think that's really going to work, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe a lucky bullet goes astray and pops ahead.
Well, they've got 20 seconds. They've got 1E and 1D. What they're going to do is they're going to pop it and they're just going to push off the back of it. No? Okay.
Oh, maybe trying to keep at least one player in position. 15 seconds. I don't think that's going to be enough unless Durpay can find that kill. Okay, now things get a little bit interesting. No, not like this. Canna, please pull this one back. It's going to be the super sub to make it work. Oh, no. The 2v4 from August with 2 roam clearers and nothing left. Oh, monkey.
I know you guys can't see me, but I knocked over my background. I'm so upset by that.
Oh,
that's a tilter. That is a tilter, Manic. No words. I'm just gonna pretend it didn't happen, alright?
That's just Pepe hands in chat. That's all I've got to say. That's a very upsetting moment in time for Acme. I might shed a tear a little bit later as well. It was looking so good.
It was theirs to lose, and you know what they did?
They lost it, monkey.
They lost it.
They done lost it. They went and did it. They did what we didn't want them to do.
Ugh. You know that one of the first fights we saw, the one with the lion?
Yep. Just constant, just holding down mouse 1.
That 50-round vector. He must have a fairly high sensitivity, Durpay, because I would have dragged my mouse off my desk by that point, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's okay, Acme. I believe in the one round. I don't really believe it on the defensive side for August. This should just be... If this isn't a flawless round, I think I'll be surprised.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Well, it's looking more and more likely that it'll be all over right now. Although it is a new half, a new day. We just saw August go flawless on their half, so why can't Acme do the same, you know? It's...
Yeah, sure. Why don't we just be optimistic, monkey? Why don't we just... Yeah, let's do it.
Just believe.
I believe. I believe that they're about to cop a 7-0, unfortunately.
Well, 2 minutes 20 left in this round, of course, so we'll have all our answers by the end of it. Or at least the pressing answers. Oh, first drone gets destroyed. Can they go in with a second one?
Well, I guess I get to see the goo mine go down, so take the wins when you get a monkey.
Well, if only Acme can.
Well,
That's someone on a camera that's been spotted. Neofighter will find that first kill, however. That's the Capitao being shut down. That's a lot of utility off the board there.
you still have, I believe that's Ethan on a flank, just making a nuisance, running downstairs, and might even be able to catch something out, but Haywood trying to make progression. How much he's really going to is still yet to be seen. Aquarium still under the control, slight control, you know, a very loose term. But not liking the chances here.
So they have to worry about below as well. If there's a C4 that comes up through the floor, or even someone to shoot through those bottom-up holes, it could be pretty worrying when the execute comes on out here.
I think we might just see a default plant behind the A-bomb. What do you reckon?
Well, they're going to try it, but how successful it's going to be is going to be,
oh, God.
you know, left up to discussion as they do push in. There has been a trade back and forth, but it's just the 4-on-2, 3-on-2, in fact. 3-on-1, all up to heels, all up to no one. Auglis do take that 7-0 Manic, and it's kind of depressing, isn't it?
I think I think it's kind of, for me, it was either like, do I have a little bit of a laugh or do I cry? And I think laugh is going to be the place I have to go there. And not laughing at Acme, more just at the pure dominance that's being shown by Auglis. Like, that's just bullied out of the server. That's all it is at the end of the day, Monkey. And like, look at the kills, right? The kills aren't considerably heavy in the favor of your boys Auglis. It's actually like, it's not even, but it's still decently contested from Acme considering a 7-0.
Yeah, it absolute dominance. You can't really take anything away from Auglis at all. Like, they won it. Acme came to play, but you know, they just didn't play enough. Like,
No.
they left all their equipment at home, maybe.
Maybe the monitors will turn. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna be that guy. I promise you, I'm not gonna be that guy. But look, I don't really know what we can really take at the end of the day from that for Acme. I feel that, again, that might have just been a bit of a throwaway matchup. But we will let's just have a look to see where we head. Well, all right. We just finished. I'm just going to give the context. We just finished the best of two. We'll have a look at the maps and the scores that we have just seen, because, of course, some of you might have just been joining, or maybe joined in that second map looking at a stomp. It wasn't all bad news on that first map, was it?
No, 7-4. It was Acme's pick, to be fair, but I think, you know, if we want to add as much context to it, Acme playing with a sub, Auglis, you know, top 2 team here in ANZ. So Acme putting up a good fight is okay.
Yep.
It's just on Auglis's map, that's where there was no fight. It was just unfortunate.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. 7-4 and 7-0. It's, you know, I think it's kind of indicative of, you know, of Auglis. A 7-0 is a very tough kind of pill to swallow for Acme, and I hate to see it come through, especially to a team that, you know, we have seen do quite a bit of damage to some good teams in the past. But just for everyone's understanding, I do have the rankings here for Group A, considering we have just finished the, believe that is day 7. We're into, day 7 of week 4. So Auglis are now on top with 3 points clear. Acme and Team Sinister are sitting on 9 points. So they're, in a relative term, equal on points, so that'll pretty much come down to the wire. But again, that one's not going to matter. However, Powerplay, Zealous, and Oddity heading into what will be the last match day for them next week is going to be the deciding factor. I don't know whether Oddity can actually make it to finals now.
It really depends on what's going on with Powerplays, because if Oddity do pick up 3 points next week and Powerplays don't, right? Powerplays still have the advantage head to head, right? Powerplays beat Oddity head to head, so going off that, I believe they would be the ones that would be making their way over to land. But I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the Powerplays situation, right? The last is it 2 weeks they've forfeited, and so, you know, I think Oddity, if they want to make it to land, they will be, you know, praying hard right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a big oof. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Group A, and I'm pretty sure the you know, when we do get back to the action, we will be able to talk about that in Group A. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all we have for today. Of course, one of our best of threes, as Monkey was just saying, has been forfeited. Monkey, would you like to say any final words before we close out the stream?
No, thanks everyone that tuned in. It's always good fun to yell about some Rainbow Six, so thanks for watching.
Beautiful. So from myself and the talent, of course, also the people out the back, the producer, the observer, Sky, and all of the admins, all of the nitty-gritty work, we'd like to thank you for coming on in and joining us once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Six Masters. But we're going to be back again tomorrow at 2 p.m, so make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you then. Sweet.